Turn your backs this way. Delaware this way. Delaware will receive at this end.
The Delaware Blue Hens have ventured to the east side of Greensboro, North Carolina for the first time to take on the North Carolina A&T Aggies. CAA play begins right here on My 48. Hello and welcome inside Truist Stadium. Spencer Turkin alongside my partner Damian Banks. We've got a good one for you here today, folks. The Blue Hens of Delaware and the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. And I really love this offense-defense matchup that we've got going on. Let's go ahead and start with the Blue Hens, the visitors. Ryan O'Connor, the quarterback, this is a guy that can really sling it all over the place.
Ryan O'Connor, the quarterback for Delaware. I like to call him the Fighting Joe Flacco's. And he's a quarterback in the mold of Flacco. Big, has a great arm, a cannon, can zip it anywhere on the field. Really going to put pressure on North Carolina A&T's defense.
And we could see him attack Karan Prunty. This is a young man that was injured last week. He's coming back this week. And NFL prospect scouts are in the building to take a look at him today. You got to love when two superb ball players are going at it.
Definitely, partner. Karan Prunty highlights that Aggies defense, but buyer beware for O'Connor. Don't throw in Prunty's area. Objects may appear closer than they actually are.
Let's go ahead and send it down to the third member of our crew, Raven Douglas. She's got a report on the injury bug that has bit North Carolina A&T.
Thanks, guys. Yes, the Aggies have a chance to show a lot about themselves today as they have a few key pieces battling injuries. Now, you talked about star quarterback Karan Prunty, who started off the field with a neck injury last game and is back in action today. Now, star running back Kenji Christian, who leads the CAA in rushing yards, is out today with a lower body injury. Also on the offensive side, veteran O-line is off with an upper body injury. Coach Brown said he is focused on having a next man up mentality and has a lot of confidence in the guys that have to step up. Back to you guys.
Raven, we appreciate that update from down on the sidelines. Back with you here in the booth, Spencer Turkin alongside Damian Banks. Partner, your keys to victory for both squads today.
Well, it's a beautiful day for football, and the keys to victory are beautiful for Delaware, the visitors. Be balanced. You got to run it and throw it. And also, don't lay an egg. You're the Fighting Blue Hens. Come out here and show it. For the home team, A&T, you got to play keep away, ball control that starts up front with the run game. And defensively, be opportunistic. Got to get a couple of takeaways. Maybe give yourself a short field.
Well, we mentioned in the open, this is a Delaware team that's getting ready to move up to FBS competition next year, so not eligible for a regular season title in the conference, not eligible to participate in the FCS tournament as well. However, this is a team that's building for the future. They feel like this is a really crucial year for them to set the tone as they continue on. And on the flip side of things, A&T coming off a very emotional win against a local rival. They're trying to ride that high and set the tone for the conference season as well.
Definitely, partner. And Delaware can't come on the road with expectations that A&T is just going to roll over as the home team because Delaware is going up a division, going to that FBS level. And keep in mind, the Blue Hens haven't played in a couple of weeks. They played late August, off last week. So there may be some rust with Delaware. For A&T, I like the way that they ended their game last week versus Winston-Salem State. Had to come up with a crucial drive in the fourth quarter to get into field goal range and to force overtime. And in overtime, Wesley Graves did the rest by running for the game-winning touchdown.
Well, you mentioned the kicking game for A&T, Andrew Brown. This is a guy that he can kick it into the wind. He can kick it with the wind. The wind is going to be a little bit of a factor today. Out of the east-northeast,
So from left to right on your screen at about 15 miles per hour, gusts up to around 25 miles per hour today. So the wind could play a factor. Looks like the rain is going to hold off. We should have a beautiful day for football on the east side of Greensboro. North Carolina A&T has won the toss and will defer, so Delaware will go ahead and receive the opening kickoff. A quick note, Jojo Bermudez is out for today's game, so he will not be on return duty and will not work on the outside of the offense. So Myson Pollard and Jakari Kelly are back deep to receive the opening kick. Andrew Brown is on the gridiron, ready to boot the pigskin away as we are ready for football on the east side of Greensboro, North Carolina. You're tuned in to the CAA on My 48 and FloFootball. An end-over-end boot to begin this ball game, and it looks like Myson Pollard is content with the touchback. And the Delaware Blue Hens will trot out onto the field, led by senior quarterback Ryan O'Connor.
Ryan O'Connor, one of the best players in right now FCS football at the quarterback position for Delaware, can sling it. Also more athletic than you may think, can also get it done with his feet.
As we see the Blue Hens starting lineup, this is a team that has a veteran offensive line. And then for defense, for North Carolina A&T, we highlighted Karan Prunty. Aaron Harris also has had a tremendous season so far for the Aggies. Here's O'Connor. He'll take it to the near side, and he'll hit Nicholas LeBoy, the grad student wide receiver and the transfer out of Cornell, for his first completion of the day.
Easy pitch and catch on first down just to get the lather going for O'Connor.
This is a team that runs a balanced offense. Do the Blue Hens. Head coach Ryan Carty in his third season at the helm. They'll keep it on the ground. Yarns able to scamper ahead and is about a yard shy of that first down marker. Marcus Yarns, a Reese's Senior Bowl watch list member. This is a guy who NFL scouts are coming to see on a weekly basis. He is a power runner that can put the shift on.
And that's what makes the offense for Delaware so potent, being able to run it and throw it.
Yarns dropped shy of that first down marker, and the A&T defensive front with a big stop on the first drive.
And that's what you have to do if you're A&T. Delaware ahead of the sticks at 3rd and short, and going to keep the offense on the field right now, but just a heck of a play by Christopher Allen Jr. and company for a loss of 1 for Delaware. They're thinking about going for it on 4th and 2 here.
4th and 2, the Blue Hens coming in confident.
YOLO for Delaware on their own 32 here.
Yarns takes it, and he has the first down.
There you see the confidence that Coach Carty has in his offense, and most notably that offensive line on 4th and 2 from your own 32. Why not? Nice hole off left guard, and first down for Delaware. It's a big play early in this ball game.
Yarns will keep it to midfield, and he's got some room and is angled out of bounds around the 42-yard line. That'll be good for another first down as the Blue Hens soar into Aggie territory.
What a difference a couple of plays makes, partner. 4th and 2, Yarns gets the tough yardage and rips off a big one.
This Aggie defensive front a little banged up today. Play action, O'Connor over the middle. That one is complete as Max Patterson holds on the Rutgers transfer. Check that. It was Jakari Kelly.
Strong hands there by Kelly. It's a bang-bang play. Running a seam route. Big first down for Delaware. It's a lot of contact. David Laney tried to knock it out without getting a targeting penalty, with just good hands there to hold on to it.
That was a confident pitch and catch. O'Connor to Kelly. 1st and 10 for the Blue Hens. O'Connor in the pocket, tosses it. That one is complete yet again to LeBoy, who has another first down, and the Blue Hens are into the red zone, and it'll be 1st and goal.
Wasting no time going quick, fast, and in a hurry. There you see O'Connor again spins it out. The boy makes the first defender miss, makes the second defender miss, picks up that all-important yak yardage yards after the catch.
O'Connor working out of the shotgun. Yarn's the motion man. O'Connor pump fakes, tosses to the end zone. That one off of the hands of Phil Lutz and out of bounds, so it'll fall incomplete. It'll bring up 2nd and goal.
O'Connor tries to zip it in there late. Took a quick look at Yarns out of the backfield, came off of him. Saw the tight end flashing late. Pretty good coverage there. Would have been a perfect pass. Maybe could have completed that one, but pretty good coverage in the secondary by A&T.
Should have Sumter on the coverage there. So O'Connor, the senior out of Easton, Maryland, will work again from the shotgun. On the ground to Yarns, and he's able to spin down to the 3-yard line. 3rd and goal for the Blue Hens.
Tough running there. Marcus Yarns, but short of the goal line. And now it's a big 3rd down here defensively for A&T. Come up with this stop and force Delaware's hand, but you already saw early that Delaware not afraid to go for it on 4th.
Given the set of circumstances, why not? Yarns shifts, reaches, and scores! Touchdown, Blue Hens!
That's just a heck of a run there by Marcus Yarns. As Kevin Broadhurst Jr. was in the backfield, avoids Broadhurst Jr., breaks a tackle. You see here Broadhurst Jr. in the backfield, breaks that tackle, stretches it over the goal line for the Blue Hens TD.
And that'll conclude a 10-play drive with a 3-yard touchdown run for Delaware. 6-0 Blue Hens. Nate Reed is on for the extra point. Went 6 for 7 in the first game against Bryant. Hold is down. Kick is no good. So the score remains 6-0 as Delaware marches down the field on its first drive from scrimmage and hangs a 6th spot on the scoreboard.
The impressive drive there by Delaware. Ryan O'Connor on point. And the running of Marcus Yarns gets it done. And the Blue Hens up early 6-0.
Well, that was your first look at the Delaware offense. Damian, your thoughts?
My thoughts, efficient, fast, about their business. And you pretty much thought coming in that, hey, A&T has to create a couple of turnovers, get off the field on 3rd down. Big 4th down to start that drive. Delaware is super confident going for it on 4th and 2 from their own 32. Able to pick up that 1st down and subsequently march down the field like the marching Aggies marching band and getting into the end zone.
Well, usually this Blue Hens offensive line is a group that went ahead and has started a whole bunch of games. Brock Gingrich out today, the center, so he's being replaced by Stephen Domboski. But this is an offensive line that has a ton of experience. They showed it on that drive. Nate Reed will boot this one away through the back of the end zone for a touchback. And North Carolina A&T will get its first look at the offense. So,
offensively, it's A&T's turn. You have to answer, maybe not with a touchdown, get in the field goal range and utilize Andrew Brown.
And for the defense for Delaware, this is a squad that has experience all over the place, brought in 14 transfers this year. Ryan Carty building for the future, getting ready for that Conference USA move. Kevin White will get the start today for North Carolina A&T as the quarterback. He'll keep it on the first touch and is ahead down the sideline to the 45 where he's angled out of bounds, and that is why the sophomore is so dangerous when he's leading the offense.
And I think of Kevin White as a young Ryan O'Connor, can get it done with his legs as well as passing. And here in the RPO action, keeps it around that left sideline, and now you see the athleticism of the young Mr. White.
You didn't see a lot of running from Kevin White last week against Winston-Salem State. The coaching staff made mention of it, that he was really trying to work on sitting in the pocket, getting comfortable. But when he's at his best, you don't know what and where he's going.
And I think the coaching staff, again, they're learning their squad as much as the squad is learning the coaching staff. Coach Vincent Brown in his second season here at A&T, new offensive coordinator. So you're still learning each player and their strengths and weaknesses.
Play action. White looking, got a nice block on the outside, completes the pass to Jerkari Caldwell, and that'll be good for a first down. I don't know if you caught it, but Nicholas Dobson with a tremendous block, able to kick out Jason Scott, the free safety for the Blue Hens.
And Jerkari Caldwell, they're after a 5-catch performance last week, coming in picking up that first down for A&T.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the 43. Graves off tackle and is ahead for a couple.
Not much off left tackle for Graves, and Graves had a monster effort in the win versus Winston-Salem State last week with the injury to Kenji Christian. You're going to see a lot of Wesley Graves today.
Graves coming off his first career 100-yard rushing game. But what kind of loss is not having Kenji Christian in the lineup today? This is a guy who came into today leading the conference in rushing.
Wesley Graves is the bruiser of the backs for A&T. Kenji Christian is the home run hitter. Get him in open space, and that's going to be all she wrote for defenders. Graves is not that kind of back. He's not slow, but not as fast as Kenji Christian, more of a power back.
Hassan Manning Jr. just came in and cut the legs right out from Wesley Graves. Wesley Graves more of a physical back. He'll take the contact, try and roll off of you. But look out for Shamik Blizzard and Daniel Coles. They're the guys who can really shake off of some defenders and head towards the sidelines.
These are the situations that offenses don't want to be in, 3rd and long situations here. See if the Aggies have an answer for this Blue Hens defense on 3rd and long.
3rd and 11 from the Blue Hens 44. White, plenty of time in the pocket, goes towards the sideline, towards nobody, and that will bring up 4th down, and the offense will come off the field. So the Blue Hens D able to hold the Aggies on their first drive from scrimmage.
Kevin White all day to throw back there for A&T. Had great timing in the pocket, just couldn't find anyone open down the field. You pick up a couple of first downs, you got to punt it away, but you do flip the field for A&T.
DJ Page on to punt this away for A&T. Fair catch is signaled for and secured by Jake Thaw. And we have a whistle and a timeout on the field. We'll take it with them. 6-0 Delaware here in Greensboro. We're back after this.
CAA football is action-packed.
CAA football is thrilling.
CAA football is gritty.
CAA football is competitive.
CAA football is grit and grind.
CAA football is exciting.
CAA football is tough.
CAA football is relentless.
CAA football is persistent.
CAA football is incredible.
CAA football is excellence.
CAA football is lights out.
CAA football is the standard.
CAA football united in excellence.
Using these type of cleansers could be damaging and stripping your skin. I use new Olay cleansing melts every day. Just soak, activate, and wash to clean, tone, and refresh. That's a 3 times better clean. Olay.
On Flow Sports. Now, the Delaware Delaware sideline has a strong leadership when it comes to head coach Brian Carty. The Delaware alum stepped into this role with the team back in 2003. Now, he was very quick to step in and create a winning environment as he became the first head coach to win at least 8 games in each of his first 2 seasons. He's known for having a very dynamic and explosive offense that ranks in the top 25 in both scoring offense and total offense. You see today, he started with a quick drive. He started the season with a big win, 48-17 over Bryant University. So it'll be interesting to see what momentum they carry into this game today. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Raven. Back with you here at Truist Stadium. 7:47 to go, 6-0. Delaware on top of North Carolina A&T. And Raven mentioning that Ryan Carty, a guy that has Delaware blue and gold running through him completely. O'Connor on the run, able to hit Yarns on the outside, and he's got some room to run, gets tripped up after the first down marker as the Blue Hens able to earn themselves a little extra room.
Yarns out of the backfield, not the initial intended target, but a lot of green grass out there, one-on-one situation in the secondary. All things considered, it's a pretty good tackle to get Yarns to the turf.
This time the Blue Hens keep it on the ground and will get right back to the line of scrimmage. You know, Ryan Carty, a guy that won a national championship in FCS back in 2003. He was a quarterback on the roster when the Blue Hens won the FCS championship. And a lot of emotions, as we talked about, with the move. Obviously, he's an FCS guy, but he's excited to see his program move up next year. The Blue Hens out of the backfield. It's Joe Nathan Silver who's able to dance around and earn another first down for Delaware. And there's an injured Aggie on the field.
It's a screen set up by Delaware, a lot of blocking out front for Joe Nathan Silver. Another first down for the Blue Hens, but we have an injured Aggie out there. Let's hope that young man's okay.
Looks like it is Mac David, the linebacker for North Carolina A&T. He's sitting up and is meeting with the medical staff now. So 6-0 Delaware on top of North Carolina A&T with 6:38 to go. It seems to me, partner, that Delaware really wants to go with this balanced attack. They feel like they can control the pace of this game, and so far they're showing it.
Well, I think with Delaware, they're so balanced offensively. They can throw it, they can run it, and they want to go at a very fast pace. They don't take a lot of time in between plays. So they know what they want to do offensively. They know they have a veteran signal caller, Ryan O'Connor. So Delaware right now looking really good on offense.
Good to see Mac David up off of his feet and over to the sideline under his own power. Always like to see that when there's an injured player down on the field. O'Connor so far 5 for 6 for 61 yards as the Blue Hens will continue their march down the field from the 37. O'Connor rolls out, throws on the run. That one is complete as the Blue Hens will keep possession.
Aaron Harris getting work over there on that right corner. He ran all the way across the field with Max Patterson. Did a pretty good job limiting that game.
2nd and 5 for the Blue Hens, who keep it on the ground again, and Silver able to reach ahead for about a yard, and it'll put a 3 in the box with about 3 to go.
3rd and 1 loading for Delaware. You would expect if they don't pick up this first down, it's 4-down territory. Showed you early that they're not afraid to go for it on 4th. It's a big 3rd down here for A&T defensively.
The handoff to Yarns. Tries to find a hole, and he is stuffed about a yard shy of that first down marker. But as you mentioned, the Blue Hens not afraid to go for it on fourth down.
Offense not even thinking about coming off the field. And if you're Delaware here.
Yarns comes up limping, and he hops over to the sideline. North Carolina A&T actually came up with the football, and the officials so far are saying that the ball came out after Yarns hit the ground, but let's take a look.
Scrum, a host of Aggies around the ball, really landed on an Aggie there. Yarns landed on an Aggie when the ball was ripped out, but Delaware able to get a playoff, and it looked like A&T jumps off sides, going to be a first down potentially for Delaware. But as that replay, good work by a replay crew.
Yeah, that probably should have been looked at.
You would think it would be looked at. I'm not sure the protocol for that, but looked like Yarns was on top of a defender when the ball came out. But
you saw Vincent Brown on the near sideline begging for a replay, did not get it, and now it results in a 5-yard penalty and a new set of downs for the Blue Hens. O'Connor, play action, plenty of time, throws and completes the pass as the Blue Hens are into the red zone. Caleb Foria, the tight end, able to haul it in.
Get some water, guys. Get some water. Get some water.
Injured as Ty Williams Jr. is down. See, O'Connor had all the time in the world and picked his spot.
All day to shop around in the secondary and zone coverage on the back end for the Aggies. It's a wide open tight end running down that left sideline for Delaware. We got an injured Aggie on the field again.
We're going to go ahead and take a timeout. When we return, we'll check in on Ty Williams Jr. We're back after this.
6,000 universities. Why choose North Carolina A&T? We graduate more African American students in engineering, journalism, liberal arts, and agriculture than any other campus anywhere, period. Our grads earn more right out of school than all but one other UNC system peer. And 96% of Aggie alums say they wish they can do it all over again. Can you feel the pride? You will. A&T, always doing, never done.
I have seen significant changes in my skin. Good Molecules is everything.
My skin looks flawless. My skin is just glowing. And who doesn't want that?
Good Molecules made an amazing difference in my skin. My skin has glowed up completely.
Hyperpigmentation cleared up a lot. My skin tone is a lot smoother.
I've truly seen a difference in my skin. Now I have confidence and now I'm glowing.
I feel confident in my skin once again thanks to Good Molecules. I have seen significant changes in my skin. Good Molecules is everything.
My skin looks flawless. My skin is just glowing. And who doesn't want that?
Good Molecules made an amazing difference in my skin. My skin has glowed up completely.
Hyperpigmentation cleared up a lot. My skin tone is a lot smoother.
I've truly seen a difference in my skin. Now I have confidence and now I'm glowing.
I feel confident in my skin once again thanks to Good Molecules. Yes, just to update about the inside linebacker, Mac David, who was down and had to be helped off of the field earlier. It seems he was being evaluated for a concussion. His return to the game is questionable. Back to you guys.
Thank you for that update, Raven, and we'll be sure to check in on Ty Williams Jr. with you here a little bit later on as he left the field with an upper body injury. It's now 1st and 10 for the Blue Hens from inside the red zone.
Delaware very comfortable offensively in their first two drives.
The handoff stays on the ground. Silver dropped just shy of the goal line. It'll be 1st and goal from the 1 for Delaware.
A thing of beauty up front for the offensive line for Delaware, just pushing back that defensive front for A&T, making just a gaping hole for Silver. About a yard shy of pay dirt. And if A&T are not going to be able to consistently stop the ground game of Delaware this afternoon, it's going to be a long day.
The handoff to Silver. Did he get in? He did. Give him 6. Touchdown. Blue Hens.
Didn't get in by much. Joe Nathan Silver stretches that ball over the pylon, and with the mixed extra point on the opening touchdown for Delaware, they're going to keep the offense out here and go for 2.
Delaware will choose to go for 2.
See on the replay, pretty good contact, but that ball crosses over the goal line. Not sure if the knee was down beforehand, but I don't think the officials are going to take a look at it. They're going to let the touchdown stand, and Delaware is going to go for 2 here.
Doesn't look like anybody's in all that big of a hurry out on the field, so the Blue Hens must have seen enough to not be in a rush. Empty set now for Delaware, going for the 2-point conversion. O'Connor to Silver, and he is not in. He gets stuffed on the goal line. So a 9-play, 89-yard drive in 4 minutes and 21 seconds results in 6 points for the Blue Hens, who lead North Carolina A&T 12-0.
You see 2-point conversion, no good, but offensively the Blue Hens humming. 2-score lead here in Greensboro. Quarter number 1, A&T has to wake up. I know it's an early start, but the Aggies got to wake up.
North Carolina A&T, this is a team that has had some injury problems, banged up all over the place, still searching for their first conference victory since moving to the CAA. Delaware, on the other hand, a team that has been part of CAA royalty now for a very long time.
Most of the time when you think of the CAA, you think of the Delawares and the Villanovas of the world, Rhode Island, sometimes Maine, New Hampshire, those CAA teams who consistently make it to the FCS playoffs and go deep in the playoffs, and A&T is trying to be one of those teams as well.
A&T will return this one. It's Vini. He's across the 20 and is dropped just shy of the 25. Good sportsmanship being shown there. You see the Blue Hen helping up the Aggie and keeping it all about the football.
Well, on a beautiful Saturday, I see beautiful offense for Delaware so far. Now, A&T offensively picked up a few first downs on that first drive. They looked pretty good, got behind the sticks, had a tackle for loss on a run by Wesley Graves, and you're not going to be able to overcome that offensively if you're A&T, so you need to stay ahead of the sticks in order to keep drives alive and put points on the board.
Graves will be the single back. He'll get the handoff and is taken down at the line of scrimmage. So that Delaware front, 6 guys, they're all stacked in the box, and they do a tremendous job applying pressure.
No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10.
Just nothing doing there. The offensive line play, like you mentioned, a couple of guys out for A&T on the offensive line, most notably their veteran center, Cesar Monaro. So if you replace your center, that's like replacing the brain of the offensive line. It's going to be some adjustment early on in the ball game.
Cesar Monaro has been here for many, many years, knows A&T football inside and out. He is now week to week with an upper body injury. White finds Graves, who's able to cut it up and is tripped up near the 31.
And that's a nice play for A&T offensively, getting Graves out in the flats here. Both teams showing that they're not afraid to throw it to the running backs out of the backfield, and Graves trying to get low.
In reality, offensive coordinator David Marsh really needs Kevin White to be Chad Pennington with legs, right? You need to manage the game, not go for the home run ball, keep it short, and keep it moving. And that's exactly what A&T does there, as Javon Dillard is able to haul in the catch and keep the chains moving.
You mentioned beat Chad Pennant and keep the chains moving. Just a simple hook route by Javon Dillard found an opening in that Delaware defense, and White delivers on point and on target, allowing White to get the first down.
It'll bring up 1st and 10 for North Carolina A&T from its own 39. Play action, White over the numbers. That one is brought in for a first down. Again, Dillard able to make something out of some tight coverage.
Chef's kiss on the throw there by Kevin White. That was a tight window. Had to put it on the receiver in between two defenders.
Wow. That was impressive. White scampers. And he's able to lay the stiff arm and keep his feet as he's angled out of bounds. And he was just taken down by Ethan Saunders there. And how about this for an interesting story, Damian? Ethan Saunders, ton of family connections to A&T. His father, Mark, was an assistant coach for the football program in the 1990s. His mother, Kim, was on the volleyball staff, and his aunt, Michelle Spotswood, was a 3-time all-conference volleyball player here at A&T.
Yeah, that's crazy. With all those Aggies around him, no one could convince him to come to Greensboro. That guy definitely has a mind of his own.
Blizzard. And he's able to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Good penetration in the backfield initially by Melkart Abu Jaoudi. Hopefully I said that right. You can @ Spencer Turkin on Twitter if I mispronounce his name.
And that'll do it for the first quarter of action. 12-0 Blue Hens. We're back after this on My 48.
I have seen significant changes in my skin. Good Molecules is everything.
My skin looks flawless. My skin is just glowing. And who doesn't want that? Good Molecules made an amazing difference in my skin. My skin has glowed up completely.
My hyperpigmentation cleared up a lot. My skin tone is a lot smoother.
I've truly seen a difference in my skin. Now I have confidence and now I'm glowing.
I feel confident in my skin once again thanks to Good Molecules.
6,000 universities. Why choose North Carolina A&T? We graduate more African American students in engineering, journalism, liberal arts, and agriculture than any other campus anywhere, period. Our grads earn more right out of school than all but one other UNC system peer. And 96% of Aggie alums say they wish they can do it all over again. Can you feel the pride? You will. A&T, always doing, never done.
Using these type of cleansers could be damaging and stripping your skin. I use new Olay cleansing melts every day. Just soak, activate, and wash to clean, tone, and refresh. That's a 3 times better clean. Olay.
Back with you here in Greensboro, North Carolina A&T. The fans enjoying themselves on a beautiful day here at Truist Stadium. I got to tell you, Damian, first quarter of action, Ryan O'Connor was all that and more. 7 of 8, 103 yards through the air. It seems like Delaware really controlling the pace of this game.
And Ryan O'Connor, you mentioned 7 or 8. That's precise passing for Delaware, and you would expect that, a veteran signal caller like Ryan O'Connor, to get his team in and out of the right sets offensively and going down the field and scoring on their first 2 drives. And now A&T trying to answer had a good drive going together on their first possession. They just stalled at midfield, and it's up to Kevin White now here to put some points on the board for North Carolina A&T.
3rd and 9 from the 44.
This is around the same part of the field that the first drive stalled for A&T.
White steps up, throws towards the sideline, and that one off the hands of Jamison Warren. Falls incomplete, and now a late flag has just come in from umpire John Reen. And we will check in with Matt Overton, our referee for today.
See what the flag is about. Very late flag after White's pass was incomplete. See what the call is.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense. Number 35. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Gavin Mole, the 6-foot sophomore out of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, gets hit with the hands to the face penalty.
That's a huge penalty there on 3rd down. Would have forced a punt for A&T, but instead it's a new set of downs, and the Aggies have new life.
And now you're in field goal range.
You're in Andrew Brown range. Not every field goal kicker is Andrew Brown range.
That is for sure. You're talking about a guy that's the first kicker in A&T history to have 2 50-yard plus field goals in the same season. Graves changing direction. Can he beat the corner? No. He is taken down at the numbers as Mole will redeem himself for the penalty and will track down Graves, and that's the difference between Wesley Graves and Kenji Christian.
Took the words out of my mouth. Graves did well to reverse field, just could not outrun the defender. And you mentioned the speed of Kenji Christian, I think, is what A&T is going to miss at that running back position today. Christian out with an injury.
And Daniel Coles is checking in, the freshman from Stafford, Virginia, a 3-star recruit by 247.com. The coaching staff very high on his potential. Play action. White towards the end zone, some bump coverage, and no flag as Jamison Warren was going up against Hassan Manning Jr.
Pretty good coverage in the secondary for Delaware. You know, officials are going to let a little bit of hand play go on, but nothing doing on the deep fade pattern for A&T. You got to take your shots if you're A&T. You can't just dink and duck it. You have to make that defense respect you for Delaware, so not a bad play call.
And that pass was into the wind. White, tons of time. This one going to be a free play. There are flags on the field. It is intercepted. But I don't think it's going to matter as KT Say came up with the pick, but there were flags all over the place.
We're going to see what this flag is, and White may have had the thought process like, hey, I have a free play. I'm just going to throw it deep but not throw it to anyone in particular. We're in a A&T uniform. Let's see what this flag is. Fortunate enough to get the first down on the
illegal self-substitution. Defense, 12 players on the field. 5-yard penalty, it's 3rd down.
So how about Kevin White understanding that Delaware was still in the middle of some substitutions, couldn't get off the field in time, so he said, let me take the snap and take a shot. And no big deal there if you throw the ball away. Now you have 3rd and manageable as opposed to 3rd and I don't know what to do.
Now with that 3rd and manageable, as you said, the playbook is a little bit more wide open. You don't have to get a huge chunk of yardage to keep the drive alive.
The line to gain is the 19. White rolling out, sets his feet, throws, and that one is incomplete. Vini was the intended receiver, and it looks like White got popped. His helmet flew off.
White was blasted there, rolling out to the right. Put a good ball on the receiver. Good defense. Now it's going to be a field goal attempt for A&T.
So Andrew Brown is on. He hit a 52-yarder last game against Winston-Salem State. This one will be a 42-yard attempt officially.
Pay attention to the flags on the goalposts with all this wind.
The wind swirling here at Truist Stadium. This one is up. Can it curl in? It can. Andrew Brown reading it like a caddy on the greens. And he erases the goose egg and makes it 12-3 Delaware.
Andrew Brown is a weapon for A&T, not only as a field goal kicker, a punter, as well as kicking off, knocks it in and puts the Aggies on the board. A drive that you would have liked to end in a touchdown, but you'll take points nonetheless if you're A&T.
Anytime you can get those first points in a ball game when you're down, it takes a little bit of pressure off. You don't have to worry about getting shut out. Now it's about trying to just get back into this ball game. Still a 2-score game, but Delaware has missed 2 extra point opportunities now, so could get interesting.
Well, there is that. Delaware has missed 2 extra point opportunities, but on the bright side of Delaware, they've been able to go down the field with relative ease to score those 2 touchdowns. And with Ryan O'Connor under center, just that veteran leadership, understanding the offense, understanding what his coach Ryan Carty wants to do offensively, taking advantage of the defense. A&T needs to make some in-game adjustments here to be able to slow down this offensive attack for Delaware.
So Andrew Brown on to kick this one off. To the sweet sounds of the blue and gold marching machine in the end zone behind him. Beautiful kick into the end zone, and that will be a touchback. Well, Damien, what do you think? The NCAA has yet to adopt the new NFL kickoff rule. Do you think it's coming? Do you like this better? What are your thoughts on all of it?
As far as the pro game, I think sometimes, a lot of times, the NCAA, they want to kind of separate themselves with a lot of the rules, so I don't see it changing anytime soon now. I could be wrong. NCAA football has established that 2-minute timeout. Remember, the 2-minute timeout, not to be confused with another 2-minute
W word.
Yes. But the kickoff situation in college football remains the same.
Saeed St. Fleur is into the ballgame now as the running back. We have yet to see Marcus Yarn since he limped off with an ankle injury, it looked like. O'Connor takes a shot down the sideline and leads Lutz just a little long into Aggie territory. That'll fall incomplete.
And if you're an A&T fan or you're a scout, you love that play. You see Prunty fooled on the double move, but has the speed to recover and forces what would need to be a perfect throw by the quarterback to complete that pass using that sideline as another defender.
St. Fleur in motion. The kick out. And the screen pass works. It's Kelly who gets shoved out of bounds from behind by David Laney, the ECU transfer, and the Blue Hens are into Aggie territory.
Delaware continues to operate their offense with efficiency. Just a little flip out on a smoke screen there. Good block out front. Once you get past that first defender, it's nothing but green grass.
O'Connor over the middle and some bumps, and now a late flag as Elijah Sessoms, the intended target, was knocked off of his route, and Vincent Brown is furious on the near sideline.
And that's a tough play if you're North Carolina A&T, because if you're Trey Mittman, you're trying to get the ball.
Pass interference.
You know, you have a right to the ball
Number 21,
as well.
15-yard penalty, first down.
That's a bang play. Flag could have stayed in the pocket of the official, but that's going to be a 15-yarder and first down for Delaware.
And it was made a little bit worse because the official actually reached down twice and missed the flag both times. And then on the third time, he got the flag, so it came out late. And you know, it's always worse when the flag is not right there.
Yeah, it appears as he may have been keeping that flag in his pocket.
Another screen pass is complete, this time to Jake Thaw, and he got absolutely hammered.
Nice play there defensively for A&T to limit that gain for Delaware. Absolute blasted by the defender. Did well to hang on to that ball.
St. Fleur Squeaks through. He's into the red zone and is taken down at the 11. And they'll mark him down at the 13, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Delaware.
And this is what Delaware did versus Bryant a couple of weeks ago. Just being a balanced offense, able to run it, able to throw it. They're just an efficient offensive ball club.
The reverse. And the Blue Hens are stopped just shy of the end zone as Matt McKinley was tripped up. It looks like a helmet popped off of one of the A&T defenders.
That play had all the makings of a Blue Hen touchdown. Everything but the tutty. Tries to reach out close to the goal line. Just couldn't quite get it over. It's going to be 1st and goal from about the 1-inch line.
Quincy Watson, the 4th running back used today by the Blue Hens, is in. He'll take the handoff and is into the end zone. Touchdown, Delaware.
Watson didn't have much room there. Really good penetration defensively by A&T, but they didn't need much to get to the goal line. So close. Delaware in for another score. Kevin Broadhurst Jr. in the backfield, but the backfield was the 1-inch line. Didn't need to go far to get into the end zone. Delaware, again, efficient on offense, helped out by that pass interference penalty and another touchdown.
Skylar's shoulders kick is blocked. The ball is on the ground. And another PAT is failed by the Blue Hens.
And out of all the great things that Delaware has done offensively today, you cannot limit the fact that Coach Canty is going to be livid with the special team situation.
18-3, 11:34 to go here in Greensboro in the first half. We're back after this on My 48.
6,000 universities. Why choose North Carolina A&T? We graduate more African American students in engineering, journalism, liberal arts, and agriculture than any other campus anywhere, period. Our grads earn more right out of school than all but one other UNC system peer. And 96% of Aggie alums say they wish they can do it all over again. Can you feel the pride? You will. A&T, always doing, never done.
I have seen significant changes in my skin. Good Molecules is everything.
My skin looks flawless. My skin is just glowing. And who doesn't want that? Good Molecules made an amazing difference in my skin. My skin has glowed up completely.
Hyperpigmentation cleared up a lot. My skin tone is a lot smoother.
I've truly seen a difference in my skin. Now I have confidence and now I'm glowing.
I feel confident in my skin once again, thanks to Good Molecules.
Universities.
Season in the CAA, they have agreed to take a step up in 2025 where they will be transitioning into Conference USA, which is the highest level of competition, of college football competition. This game will count to their conference standings next year, but they cannot play in postseason this season. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Raven. 18-3. North Carolina A&T trailing the University of Delaware. As Nate Reed is on to kick this one away.
Well, early on in this one, Spencer, it looks like offensively Delaware, they didn't come around to play any games. They didn't want to give A&T a thought that, hey, you're going to be able to be in a tight game with us so far. Now, A&T has time. Only the second quarter. They've shown that they can move the football. So offensively, A&T has been able to move the ball. And field goals are not going to get it for the Aggies. They're going to have to score touchdowns and come up with a couple of takeaways defensively to get back in it.
they're going to have to find a way in the red zone to start moving the football better. That's really the key, right? If you move the ball inside the 20s, great. That's awesome, right? You're putting yourself in potential field goal range. Things are good. But to be great, it's what you do in the red zone that people start to look at.
And you're right about that. Moving the ball from the 20 and 20, that's going to look good at the end of the game for yardage purposes. It's not going to look good as far as the scoreboard. You need to be able to score points, especially against a team who has no problems getting into the end zone like Delaware.
1st and 10 for North Carolina A&T from the 25. White over the middle, able to dunk it in there to Vini.
Vini just sitting down in the middle of the zone, presenting a target to Kevin White, picking up a good gain on 1st down and staying ahead of the sticks. No loss of yardage, no 2nd and long, 3rd and longs for A&T. That's key offensively.
2nd and 3 for the Aggies. Here's Coles, chucking his feet, and he will gain about 1.5 yards.
And Coles off left tackle. See the guard pulling there. With the kick out, just not much off the cut for A&T. Is going to bring up a 3rd and short.
3rd and 2 officially, as Kevin White will settle into the shotgun. Dobson, the motion man. Caldwell takes the screen, works around the defender, and moves the chains.
Caldwell didn't need much. Dobson on the initial block on that smoke screen picks up a 1st down for the Aggies, and you can see the maturation offensively for Kevin White and the Aggie offense. Again, White, still a young guy, growing every week here in Greensboro.
6 for 9 so far, 50 yards through the air for Kevin White. Shovel pass, break up at the seam, and that will be marked incomplete as it was technically a forward pass.
That's the beauty of a shovel pass. If it never will be a fumble if it's
the ruling on the field
shovel pass,
is
just
a
an
forward
incomplete
pass. Incomplete.
That was awfully close.
It's about as close as you and I are standing right now.
I'm going to take a step further away just in case.
Could have been called a pitch.
Probably a good thing that there's no camera on that yard marker.
Sometimes you get the home cooking, sometimes you don't. This time, that food tastes good here in Greensboro.
You got yourself a good plate before the game, huh? White down the sideline to Caldwell, who can't haul it in double coverage.
Caldwell tried to go up and get it. Tight coverage in that Delaware secondary. Tyron Herring breaks up the pass.
Nice ball by Kevin White, though.
Yeah, pretty ball placement, putting it where you give your receiver a chance to go up and get it. Just good defense there by Herring.
And that's what you're talking about with this maturation process. Kevin White could not have made that throw last year. Or at least he wasn't willing to show that he could make that throw.
Yeah, physically he probably could have made that throw, but mentally wasn't there yet. Another year in the college system, not just the offensive system. He's growing as a player.
White steps up, tosses it. He's got Dillard, who's been a sure thing on the seam all day long, and the Aggies are into Blue Hen territory.
That's what you have to do. If you're A&T, the redshirt freshman, Javon Dillard, just finding a spot in that zone coverage. White puts it on him for it. Aggie 1st down. Again, moving the ball, not having a problem moving the ball in between the 20s. What are you going to do and what are you willing to do when you get into that red zone?
Javon Dillard, 3 grabs, 44 yards so far on the day. White gets rid of it in time, has Caldwell, and cannot break free from the Blue Hen defense. It was Tyron Herring out of Delray Beach, Florida, with the stop. Last year against A&T, he had 5 tackles and a fumble recovery.
It's a one-on-one matchup on the outside. If Herring can't bring down Caldwell, he's going to have some yards to pick up, and you're counting on Caldwell breaking that tackle if you're A&T, but really good job there by Herring with the short tackle.
The Aggies taking plenty of time in between plays, going with that stacked twins formation up top. Play action. This toss over the middle, and it'll fall incomplete. Rory Jones, Amen Hetep was the receiver that White was going for.
White's pass incomplete.
Hetep at green grass, if that ball gets down just a smidgen, just high, you complete that pass, potentially you're still running. It's going to bring up a 3rd and long here again. Don't want to be in these situations if you're A&T.
3rd and 9 from the 43-yard line. White play action again. Throws and has Dillard one more time down to the 26.
Looked like a carbon copy of the last first down. Dillard just sitting down in the zone off the seam. You get the far side wide out running the defender off on a go route, allowing Dillard to sit down in the zone.
A&T quickly back to it as Dobson was looking to catch the Blue Hens defense asleep and could not. It'll bring up 2nd and 10 from the 26. And Javon Dillard today starting to make a name for himself.
And just doing something so simple as sitting down, showing his numbers to his quarterback, giving him a target to throw to. And Delaware looking like they have that bend but don't break mentality in the secondary. We might give up some yards, but we don't want you to beat us over the top.
Well, they play that unique 3-3 front, and there is a little bit of room on the seam.
When you bring that robber down, you're going to have some success, as you mentioned, in the seam.
Blizzard fumbled, and it looks like Delaware has taken control. It was forced by Gavin Mole.
And Blizzard playing today because Kenji Christian, the starting running back, is
Rolling
out.
on the field is a fumble, recovered by the
Blizzard
defense.
has
First down.
talent. That particular occasion, as we see here on the replay, just good penetration there for the Aggies and getting spent to the ground. Not sure if he was on the turf or not. This will be a good opportunity for the officials to look at this one just to make sure. But just a great play in the backfield there defensively for Delaware. Gavin Mole forces the fumble. See again here on the replay. Can't really tell from that angle. It's going to be Blue Hens football.
The replay official today, Brian Thomas. O'Connor under pressure. The screen is set up and executed. It'll be a loss of 1 on the play as Jakari Kelly could not get back to the line of scrimmage.
It's a really good play defensively by A&T. Quick change of possession to be alert on the screen game for Delaware.
O'Connor surveying. Sends it outside to Silver. He'll put on a move and has the first down.
Gotta love Delaware's offense. These running backs are like quasi-wide receivers. They're in these wide receiver plays out of the backfield, and defensively, oftentimes you don't account for the running back out of the backfield. You got so much to worry about with those 3 and 4 wide receiver sets.
And just remember, partner, Brock Gingrich, the starting center, out today for Delaware. O'Connor rolling out, has time to set his feet, tosses it down the seam, and it's broken up by David Laney.
And Laney almost fooled on that play. Saw the late post route from around the right end, gets his head on a swivel, hauls tail down the field, and breaks this one up. Waits for the wide receiver to throw his hands up for the motion of catching the ball, and without committing a pass interference penalty, breaks that one up for A&T.
O'Connor On second down, it'll go back to Silver. This time, the A&T defense was able to sniff it out.
O'Connor has no issues. Very confident in his running backs out of the backfield. That time Silver stopped for a short gain.
It'll be 3rd and 8 for the Blue Hens. Back in their own side of the field, and now we have a whistle and a timeout taken by North Carolina
First charge
A&T.
timeout, North Carolina A&T. 30-second timeout.
We're going to go ahead and take it with them. We're back after this.
Media
Delaware
timeout.
in control, 18-3.
CAA football is action-packed.
CAA football is thrilling.
CAA football is gritty.
CAA football is competitive.
CAA football is grit and grind.
CAA football is exciting.
CAA football is tough.
CAA football is relentless.
CAA football is persistent. CAA football is incredible.
CAA football is excellence.
CAA football is lights out.
CAA football is the standard.
CAA football united in excellence.
Using these type of cleansers could be damaging and stripping your skin. I use new Olay cleansing melts every day. Just soak, activate, and wash to clean, tone, and refresh. That's a 3 times better clean. Olay.
On Flow Sports.
For North Carolina A&T.
Yes, a quick update on safety Ty Williams, who went down in the first quarter. He had to be helped off the field. He does have an apparent upper body injury and will not return to the game today. Back to you guys.
Even for that update, that's a big loss for North Carolina A&T. Ty Williams Jr. came into today as the leading tackler for the Aggies, had 7 stops at Wake Forest. When you're a defense that's already down a few men, that is not what you want to hear.
Definitely partnering. For any team, it's next man up mentality. That's why you pay attention during the week in practice. You pay attention in film session. You never know when your number is going to be called, and when you play the style of football that Ty Williams Jr. has played, injury is always a risk in your game. So it's next man up defensively for A&T.
3rd and 8 for the Blue Hens from the 41. O'Connor getting the play change from the sideline. Has some time, throws over the seam. That one falls incomplete off the hands of Matt McKinley. And that will bring the punt unit on for the Blue Hens for the first time today.
Slot receiver runs a go route. Outside wide out, just runs a skinny post. O'Connor puts it on him a little bit out in front, but something that a seasoned wide receiver can hold on to. And it's going to be a big-time 3rd down stop for A&T defensively.
Laquan Vini back deep to return this punt, standing at the 20. Beautiful kick. That will roll just into the end zone for a touchback. As Josh Cupid could not keep that one out of the end zone. There's actually a flag back at the 41. It'll be illegal procedure on the kicking team. So now if you're Vincent Brown, you have a decision to make. You probably just take the result.
Coach Brown, at this point, your defense got off the field on a 3rd down against an offense that's been moving it up and down the field on you.
Illegal formation.
You'll just take this possession.
Kicking team. 5 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty be added to the end of the kick. Ruling on the field is a touchback.
Take the possession and add those 5 yards and get your offense back on the field. Got about 5:59 left in this first half. You know I'm a stickler for this type of situation because, you know, anyone knows me knows I'm a 49er fan. And how the 49ers play their brand of football, they always defer to the second half. They always want to have the ball at the end of the second quarter to put points on the board leading into halftime. And then they want to get the ball back and score more points. And A&T has an opportunity to do this now.
Vincent Brown now trying to talk to the officials. He thought that the 5-yard penalty should have resulted in a start from the 30. Here's Graves, and he'll take it to the 30. You mentioned the 49ers. North Carolina A&T alum Brandon Parker actually was released by the 49ers and was signed by the Atlanta Falcons. So congratulations to offensive lineman Brandon Parker, who will now have an opportunity to continue his NFL career in Atlanta.
And that's big time just for the fact that, you know, if you can come to A&T, if you have aspirations on playing on the next level, those things are possible.
Both squads obviously with an NFL presence. And how about this? Both teams, both programs actually have a GM in the NFL.
Again, you would think that, quote-unquote, little old Delaware or little old A&T, you know, these two teams have GMs in the National Football League. That goes to show you if you're talented, they'll find you anywhere, whether you're a player or an executive.
Brett Veach for the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs and Brad Holmes for Super Bowl hopeful Detroit Lions for North Carolina A&T, and now there's flags all over the place. And this one looks like it's coming back on top of what was a solid stop for the Delaware defense.
All type of pressure in the backfield on White, and he's walking around a little bit gingerly there.
But you're right, Danny. You think about that. 2 CAA
personal
programs,
foul, face
2
mask,
NFL
offense,
GMs,
number 55.
amongst
Penalties
a
declined.
slew of NFL
Result
players.
of the play is 4th down.
I mean, Brandon Parker still doing this for North Carolina A&T. Ricky Lee is playing offensive line in the league also, and then Joe Flacco for his 150th year is still kicking in the NFL.
I said it in the opener, the Fighting Joe Flaccos. I'm showing my age here. I vividly recall watching Joe Flacco lose to Appalachian State in the FCS championship game. So, yeah, Flacco's still hanging in there.
And that one is secured by Thaw as he rolls out of bounds. And the Delaware offense will come back out onto the field.
As quick as A&T got the ball on offense, 3 and out, now Delaware has those thoughts. So let's put a drive together, put some points on the board as we get close to halftime, and that punt tracking towards that sideline. Blue Hens starting it on their own 39.
18 points on the board so far for the Blue Hens. As Delaware will keep it on the ground with a nice first down rush. In the game after a bye week for Ryan Carty and the Blue Hens, so 2-0 so far in those games, averaging 40.5 points per game in those 2 games. Delaware hovering right around that number, and had they actually punched through their 3 extra points, they would have been right on pace.
Yeah, Delaware potent offensively, no doubt about that. A&T has some adjustments to make at the halftime break.
O'Connor, plenty of time, throws, and that one is picked off. It's Aaron Harris down the sideline. He has some room, brings it in to the 10-5, and takes it to the house.
The tip drill is one of the best plays in defense, because once you get that interception off the tip, the offense is scrambling, trying to figure out who has the ball. Aaron Harris, a great return man. He gets his hands on the ball. He's thinking offense right away. And just a pass that was thrown late here by O'Connor, his worst pass of the ball game behind his intended target. And that one is tipped. by David Laney. Aaron Harris does the rest down that right sideline. Doesn't need much with that speed, and he turns into a return guy here. He sees the end zone, wants to get there, and now you look up, we got a one-score ball game, partner.
And we have a whistle and a flag before the PAT. A 70-yard pick
False start.
six.
Kicking team, number 55. 5-yard penalty, replay the try.
On the extra point. But how about that? A 70-yard interception return for a touchdown. When you can't get it done offensively, it's defensive scoring, special teams, those things matter even more. And there's another example.
Oh, the tables, they do be turning, partner. And it looked like Delaware was primed to just go down and put some more points on the board, but that tip drill, and I'm not talking about the Nelly video from BET Late Night, but I digress. Aaron Harris down that right sideline, touchdown Aggies.
Brown makes this a one-score game. Delaware 18, North Carolina A&T 10, and those missed extra points keeping A&T in this ball game.
Yeah, one-score game for A&T, and they've shown that they can move the ball on offense. So now Aggies have that feeling like, hey, we're in this game. Delaware, you're going to have to earn it if you want it.
Momentum-wise now, you could just see the A&T sideline. It completely different look from 5 minutes ago.
Well, momentum-wise, what it does is give some juice to the defense, and Delaware has to be careful here. You don't want to give the ball back to A&T late in this first half to give them a chance to put a drive together for points. So now Delaware is thinking in their head, okay, we got work to do. We don't want to make another mistake, and that's one of the takeaways that A&T needed to stay in this ball game. Not only did they get the takeaway, they didn't even give themselves a short field. They scored on defense, and that's always a great thing.
Aggie Nation and worldwide cannot get it and keep right.
Now can the defense for A&T come up with a stop late in the first half and get the ball back to their offense?
This one will be fielded by Delaware. It's Sean Wilson. He's going to take it up the sideline. And the Blue Hens are going to return the favor. No flags on the field.
A&T.
No, look at that, a late flag back at the 23. This one's coming back.
A little bit of adobo, that home cooking. A&T feeling themselves.
During the return,
great coverage,
holding.
but this one's going to come
return
back.
team, number
Wipe
28.
the sweat off the brow
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
For
First
A&T.
down.
As Delaware took one back to the house on the kick return. This one's going to come back and it's actually going to back up Delaware. Huge mistake on the special teams for the Blue Hens.
Talk about a wave of emotions. You look around, there's no flags. All of a sudden, one just magically dropped on the field.
I wouldn't say it's magic. It was an illusion. But an illusion that was in the favor of the home team for A&T. And now if you're A&T, like, okay, still a one-score game. Let's see if we can get this ball back to our offense, and we can put a drive together. It doesn't even have to result in a touchdown. You get that 2-for-1 late in the first half.
And that's what's scary now if you're the Blue Hens, right? This drive is pivotal because if you get stopped quickly, you're leaving the door open for A&T to come out in the second half and do some damage. St. Fleur around the end. And he will reach for the first down marker. And there's a flag on the play back at the 19.
Looks like this one may be coming back as well. Delaware a little bit shell-shocked still.
Holding. Offense, number 77.
Pick six.
10-yard penalty.
Now if you're Ryan
First
O'Connor,
down.
can you get that interception, that pick six out of your head on your next throw? Because you're going to have to throw unless Delaware just wants to turn around and hand the ball off for the rest of the ball game. Can you get that pick six out of your head and get back to running your offense efficiently?
So now it's 1st and 20 for Delaware. O'Connor, this one tipped. It's up in the air, and it is recovered by Anwar O'Neal, the right tackle for Delaware.
Oh, so close to another tip drill interception. As I mentioned, if you're Ryan O'Connor, do you get that pick six out of your head and return to moving your offense down the field at will? Right now, Delaware trying to regain their focus in this ball game. Oh, so close. Heads up play by the O-lineman. That's an O-lineman's dream, partner, catching a pass in the ball game.
O'Connor looking over the middle. This one up in the air and cannot be snagged by Cade Molitor. But now the A&T defense starting to get their hands up. The crowd giving them their due.
A little bit of pressure in the backfield forces O'Connor to step up. Another pass that's a little bit behind its intended target. Ball up in the air for it seemed like an eternity. Falls to the turf, but it brings up a huge third down. A third and a long way for Delaware.
3rd and 22 for the Blue Hens from their own 7-yard line. O'Connor from his own end zone. Over the middle. That one is complete, and it'll be good for a first down and more as Phil Lutz takes it out towards midfield, and the threat is over.
Yeah, that's something that you can't allow if you're the defense for A&T. 3rd and 20 plus. And that's just an excellent pitch and catch there for Delaware. Finding the spot in the back end of that Aggie defense.
O'Connor taking a shot. Tons of contact. And no flag on the play. As it looks like Janaz Sumter was there on the coverage.
Sumter, stride for stride. The wide receiver, Sumter, getting his head around late. And I think that that's something that the officials saw, hence no flag with the minor contact in that secondary.
2nd and 10 for the Blue Hens from just shy of the 49. Under pressure, O'Connor steps up, and he is wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage and brought down as Christopher Abraham with the stop.
Pressure
that is the
again
2-minute timeout
in the backfield for A&T, and gonna get that 0.5 sack apiece here on the defensive end for A&T, but timeout on the field, 1:55 left in the second quarter. A&T down 10-18 to Delaware.
Significant changes in my skin. Good Molecules is everything.
My skin looks flawless. My skin is just glowing, and who doesn't want that? Good Molecules made an amazing difference in my skin. My skin has glowed up completely.
Hyperpigmentation cleared up a lot. My skin tone is a lot smoother.
I've truly seen a difference in my skin. Now I have confidence, and now I'm glowing.
I feel confident in my skin once again, thanks to Good Molecules.
6,000 universities. Why choose North Carolina A&T? We graduate more African American students in engineering, journalism, liberal arts, and agriculture than any other campus anywhere, period. Our grads earn more right out of school than all but one other UNC system peer. And 96% of Aggie alums say they wish they can do it all over again. Can you feel the pride? You will. A&T, always doing, never done.
Using these type of cleansers could be damaging and stripping your skin. I use new Olay cleansing melts every day. Just soak, activate, and wash to clean, tone, and refresh. That's a 3 times better clean. Olay.
3rd and 13 for the Blue Hens. O'Connor chucks it down the numbers, and that one is incomplete, and a flag comes flying in towards the end of the play, and that'll go against Karan Prunty. You don't hear that too often.
My mom always told me, son, if you don't have any nice things to say about an individual or a situation, don't say anything. But, Mom, I'm sorry. God rest your soul. I'm going to have to say it here now. Prunty, I don't see a lot of contact
Number
there.
7,
Didn't get his hand
15-yard penalty,
around, but
automatic first down.
You can touch your opponent. You can put your hand on your opponent. Didn't deter the wideout from catching the ball. I don't know about that one. That's a tough call on A&T. Gives Delaware a first down.
I'm not even 100% sure it was a catchable ball. O'Connor on the run, breaks free, throws and completes it to Foria. He has the first down and reaches for the 25.
That time, Ryan O'Connor showing his athleticism, getting away from the rush. Comes back across the field, keeps his eyes downfield. That's the most important thing. Caleb Foria picks up another first down.
3 timeouts remaining for the Blue Hens. O'Connor towards the corner of the end zone, and he leads Lutz a little too far, and it'll be an incomplete pass. 2nd and 10.
One thing about Delaware, they are going to take their shots down the field. They're going to try to stress you vertically. And O'Connor, it's a little bit long on that one, but gifted by a first down. They're in prime territory to put up points here late in this first half.
The Blue Hens working on the ground at St. Fleur. And partner, we have not seen Marcus Yarns since he came limping off the field after the second drive of the game. Obviously, big part of Delaware's offense.
Yarns injured on that run, but they've had Jonathan Silver come in and produce for them. So usually programs have a stable of backs they can turn to when injuries occur.
That one an incomplete pass.
Yeah, Prunty is getting a little chilly out, early September, a blanket on the wideout. Now, that situation, Prunty didn't turn his head around again. Similar situation.
I actually thought there was more contact on that one than on the first time.
The receiver tried to fight back to the ball. Prunty just had his hands up. Similar situation on the previous play, but
and I don't even blame Jakari Kelly for asking for the flag, because there was,
as a former corner,
there was more contact on that play than there was the first time.
As a former cornerback, I do. Stop begging and get a job, son.
The field goal attempt is up and in for the Blue Hens, as Nate Reed able to split the uprights with 43 seconds remaining in the second quarter. A 41-yard field goal to make it 21-10 and a 2-score game.
Delaware gets those 3 points back with the field goal. It's a pretty good drive put together late in the game. It started with that 3rd and 22 that Delaware converted, aided by a pass interference, albeit questionable in my opinion. Cash in with a field goal late to stop this Aggie momentum.
Well, you got to capitalize when opportunities are presented, and 3 points on the board would definitely count as that. Nice crowd ended up filing in here for today's game.
Well, it's an early start, 1 p.m.
A&T's next 2 games on the road, both night games, against HBCU rivals North Carolina Central and South Carolina State.
And those are two teams that the Aggies are very familiar with from their MEAC days. So A&T, no rest for the weary. After this one, have to go on the road, but this one is still in doubt, and I like the way that A&T has fought during this first half.
Delaware will return home to take on UPenn and then Sacred Heart before returning to conference play for their final go-around in the CAA. It'll be 1st and 10 for North Carolina A&T from its own 25.
And with 43 seconds left, 2 timeouts. If you're the Aggies, do you put the ball in harm's way trying to get in Andrew Brown field goal range? Or do you concede? Now, you do have a young quarterback. You got some talent at the wide receiver position. Do you try to get in field goal range, or do you just take it to the locker room? These are the questions that Vincent Brown has the answer.
Screen pass to Graves. He'll work up the sideline and is dropped out of bounds, so that'll save a timeout for North Carolina A&T with 36 seconds to go. And if you can get a couple more of those, then all of a sudden you're in Andrew Brown range.
Wesley Graves, not a burner, but screen set up perfectly with blockers out front and getting that big frame down that left sideline for a huge first down.
3 wide receivers to the top of the screen. White looking, drops it off. The Aggies in the middle of the field and taken down just shy of that first down marker. It was Thomas Brown. They're actually going to give him the first down.
I thought that A&T may have had to use a timeout there, but first down pickup, saving that timeout.
Play action, White scampering, tucks it, runs it, dives for the 40 and has it. And a timeout is taken by Vincent Brown. Couple seconds ran
Second
off the
charge
clock
timeout.
there.
North Carolina A&T. 30-second timeout.
11 seconds left. Your A&T thought process is, hey, let's get about 10 more yards on this play and give Andrew Brown a chance to knock in a long field goal as we go to the locker room.
His reported range is right around 55.
If you get 8 to 10 more yards, even 8 yards here, you're on the 40-yard line. You get to about maybe the 30-yard line, maybe the 32. Gives yourself a chance at a 50-plus yard field goal. You do have a timeout remaining, so the middle of the field is open, and there is an option to pick up more yards to make it a more comfortable attempt for Andrew Brown.
It'll bring up 2nd and 2 for North Carolina A&T. White rolling out, comes back with the screen. That one is complete to Anthony Rucker, and he'll get out of bounds at around the 25.
And that was a huge play by Rucker to make the first defender miss, because it's one lone blue hen in the flats. Could have brought down Rucker short. Able to elude that tackle and get valuable yardage to give Andrew Brown a very makeable attempt here to go into the halftime break.
It'll be a 42-yard field goal attempt for Brown. He was good from 52 last week. Snap is back. The hold is down. The kick is good. Into the wind. And Andrew Brown hangs 3 points on the board as time expires here in the second quarter. And it's 21-13. Delaware leading North Carolina A&T. Oh, Damian, A&T gets the ball back to begin the next half. That's a solid way for the Aggies to head to the locker room as we get ready to send it down to Raven Douglas, standing by with the head coach for North Carolina A&T, Vincent Brown. Raven, take it away.
That's the
A big moment to play by corner Aaron Harris and to score you guys' first touchdown. What does he mean to this team?
It was a huge play. You know, we all know you got to play for 60 minutes now, and we just tell our kids keep fighting. It came up big. It's on the board.
290 Delaware offensive yards compared to y'all's 146. 201 of those are passing yards. What adjustments are you making for the next half?
Yeah, we got to be more disciplined in our coverages. Tighter on body coverage and breaking on the ball when we're in zone coverage.
All right, thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Your attention to midfield.
That's a tremendous way for the Aggies to round out 30 minutes of play. Solid half of football for both squads. 21-13 is our score as we head to the intermission. Damian, your quick thoughts.
My thoughts were Delaware moving the ball up and down the field looked like they were going to run away from A&T. A&T showing that intestinal fortitude, and what a drive late in the first half, culminating in an Andrew Brown field goal. One-score game, and the Aggies received the ball to start the second half.
A 42-yard field goal caps a 5-play, 50-yard drive in 43 seconds. We take a timeout here at the half. Delaware 21, North Carolina A&T 13. You're tuned in to the CAA on My 48.
CAA football is action-packed.
CAA football is thrilling.
CAA football is gritty.
CAA football is competitive.
CAA football is grit and grind.
CAA football is exciting.
CAA football is tough.
CAA football is relentless.
CAA football is persistent. CAA football is incredible.
CAA football is excellence.
CAA football is lights out.
CAA football is the standard.
CAA football united in excellence.
The CAA on Flow Sports.
6,000 universities. Why choose North Carolina A&T? We graduate more African American students in engineering, journalism, liberal arts, and agriculture than any other campus anywhere, period. Our grads earn more right out of school than all but one other UNC system peer. And 96% of Aggie alums say they wish they can do it all over again. Can you feel the pride? You will. A&T, always doing, never done.
I have seen significant changes in my skin. Good Molecules is everything.
My skin looks flawless. My skin is just glowing. And who doesn't want that?
Good Molecules made an amazing difference in my skin. My skin has glowed up completely.
Hyperpigmentation cleared up a lot. My skin tone is a lot smoother.
I've truly seen a difference in my skin. Now I have confidence and now I'm glowing.
I feel confident in my skin once again, thanks to Good Molecules.
Using these type of cleansers could be damaging and stripping your skin. I use new Olay cleansing melts every day. Just soak, activate, and wash to clean, tone, and refresh. That's a 3 times better clean. Olay.
significant changes in my skin. Good Molecules is everything.
My skin looks flawless. My skin is just glowing. And who doesn't want that?
Good Molecules made an amazing difference in my skin. My skin has glowed up completely.
Hyperpigmentation cleared up a lot. My skin tone is a lot smoother.
I've truly seen a difference in my skin. Now I have confidence and now I'm glowing.
I feel confident in my skin once again thanks to Good Molecules.
6,000 universities. Why choose North Carolina A&T? We graduate more African American students in engineering, journalism, liberal arts, and agriculture than any other campus anywhere, period. Our grads earn more right out of school than all but one other UNC system peer. And 96% of Aggie alums say they wish they can do it all over again. Can you feel the pride? You will. A&T, always doing, never done.
CAA football is action-packed.
CAA football is thrilling.
CAA football is gritty.
CAA football is competitive.
CAA football is grit and grind.
CAA football is exciting.
CAA football is tough.
CAA football is relentless.
CAA football is persistent. CAA football is incredible.
CAA football is excellence.
CAA football is lights out.
CAA football is the standard.
CAA football united in excellence.
I have seen significant changes in my skin. Good Molecules is everything.
My skin looks flawless. My skin is just glowing. And who doesn't want that?
Good Molecules made an amazing difference in my skin. My skin has glowed up completely.
Hyperpigmentation cleared up a lot. My skin tone is a lot smoother.
I've truly seen a difference in my skin. Now I have confidence and now I'm glowing.
I feel confident in my skin once again thanks to Good Molecules.
Using these type of cleansers could be damaging and stripping your skin. I use new Olay cleansing melts every day. Just soak, activate, and wash to clean, tone, and refresh. That's a 3 times better clean. Olay.
6,000 universities. Why choose North Carolina A&T? We graduate more African American students in engineering, journalism, liberal arts, and agriculture than any other campus anywhere, period. Our grads earn more right out of school than all but one other UNC system peer. And 96% of Aggie alums say they wish they can do it all over again. Can you feel the pride? You will. A&T, always doing, never done.
I have seen significant changes in my skin. Good Molecules is everything.
My skin looks flawless. My skin is just glowing. And who doesn't want that?
Good Molecules made an amazing difference in my skin. My skin has glowed up completely.
Hyperpigmentation cleared up a lot. My skin tone is a lot smoother.
I've truly seen a difference in my skin. Now I have confidence and now I'm glowing.
I feel confident in my skin once again thanks to Good Molecules.
Using these type of cleansers could be damaging and stripping your skin. I use new Olay cleansing melts every day. Just soak, activate, and wash to clean, tone, and refresh. That's a 3 times better clean. Olay.
seen significant changes in my skin. Good Molecules is everything.
My skin looks flawless. My skin is just glowing, and who doesn't want that? Good Molecules made an amazing difference in my skin. My skin has glowed up completely.
Hyperpigmentation cleared up a lot. My skin tone is a lot smoother.
I've truly seen a difference in my skin. Now I have confidence, and now I'm glowing.
I feel confident in my skin once again, thanks to Good Molecules.
CAA football is action-packed.
CAA football is thrilling.
CAA football is gritty.
CAA football is competitive.
CAA football is grit and grind.
CAA football is exciting.
CAA football is tough.
CAA football is relentless.
CAA football is persistent. CAA football is incredible.
CAA football is excellence.
CAA football is lights out.
CAA football is the standard.
CAA football united in excellence.
I have seen significant changes in my skin. Good Molecules is everything.
My skin looks flawless. My skin is just glowing, and who doesn't want that? Good Molecules made an amazing difference in my skin. My skin has glowed up completely.
Hyperpigmentation cleared up a lot. My skin tone is a lot smoother.
I've truly seen a difference in my skin. Now I have confidence, and now I'm glowing.
I feel confident in my skin once again, thanks to Good Molecules.
6,000 universities. Why choose North Carolina A&T? We graduate more African American students in engineering, journalism, liberal arts, and agriculture than any other campus anywhere, period. Our grads earn more right out of school than all but one other UNC system peer. And 96% of Aggie alums say they wish they can do it all over again. Can you feel the pride? You will. A&T, always doing, never done.
This is the CAA on Flow Sports.
I have seen significant changes in my skin. Good Molecules is everything.
My skin looks flawless. My skin is just glowing, and who doesn't want that? Good Molecules made an amazing difference in my skin. My skin has glowed up completely.
Hyperpigmentation cleared up a lot. My skin tone is a lot smoother.
I've truly seen a difference in my skin. Now I have confidence, and now I'm glowing.
I feel confident in my skin once again, thanks to Good Molecules.
Back with you here at Truist Stadium. Spencer Turkin alongside my partner Damian Banks. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first half stats. You see Delaware, tons of yards, controlling what's going on out on the field for the most part, except all of a sudden a defensive touchdown for North Carolina A&T, and you have a 21-13 ball game.
And that moment changed the game, partner. Delaware going up and down the field, doing what they wanted to do. A&T had a little bit of success offensively, but it didn't amount into points. That tip drill interception, pick 6 by A&T got them in the game, not only in the scoreboard, but mentally. The sideline, very excited. That carries over to the field, and A&T put together that late drive to get an Andrew Brown field goal. You look up, it's a one-score ball game.
When you look at the rushing yards, that has to be the most surprising stat of them all. A&T, a team that put 185 rushing yards up against Wake Forest in week 1, can't seem to figure it out here. Part of that, I'm sure, though, Cesar Monaro being out and the leader of your offensive line not a part of the equation.
Yeah, you have injuries. You mentioned Cesar Monaro, the starting center for A&T, not playing today. That coupled with Kenji Christian not on the field, usually a reliable running back. Here you see the touchdown run by Marcus Yarns before he went out with injury. But the run game for A&T, not the catalyst offensively today. It's the arm and the passing game for Kevin White. Kevin White, the sophomore quarterback for A&T, making plays with his arm, and A&T square in this ball game.
Let's go ahead and send it down to the third member of our crew, Raven Douglas. She's got an update from the sidelines.
Now, I spoke with the head coach, Brian Carson, and he talked about how, unfortunately, one of their star offensive players is out with injury right now. However, they have been able to move the ball to other people, and he said his biggest focus right now is cleaning up the mistakes, not having as many penalties, not having as many turnovers, and focus on finishing strong for the second half. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Raven. Well, shorthanded, still getting the job done. If you're both of these squads, really, you're starting to feel the pain of the early season injury bug. Some key players not going to be available here in the second half. What do you do if you are Vincent Brown and Ryan Carty?
Well, understatement of all time, football is a physical game, and you're going to have injuries. That's why you try to build the depth up on your ball club through recruiting is hard with the portal and things of that nature, but you got to have some depth because those injuries are going to creep up on you. And with Delaware, Marcus Yarns goes out. You got a couple of different running backs that come in and produce as well. So both teams are dealing with injuries. Both teams have to fight through it. A&T right now with that momentum to try to start this third quarter. Remember, they get the ball back and try to put a drive together, but injuries are a part of the game. Both coaches, Coach Brown for A&T, Coach Carty for Delaware, understand that. They just got to try to fight through it.
If you're Delaware, you've struggled with point-after attempts. Right now, that's the reason why this game is a one-score game. That has to be irking you.
2 missed extra points, went for a 2-point conversion, didn't get it, did get a field goal late to quasi get those points back, but you mentioned special teams that often malign third part of the ball game. You know, if you lose the special teams battle, you can oftentimes lose the ball game, and you know Coach Carty can't be happy with those missed extra points.
Well, both teams getting set to make their way back out onto the field. The wind really picking up here, working from north to south, so from left to right on your screen right now. You see the flags at the top of the far stands. I mean, they are all the way out, fully spread out and churning.
Well, the sun is shining, but, you know, like Tony, it feels good. Wind's blowing. Feels great in the stadium, great atmosphere for a Sunday afternoon football game. And what I love about it, it's super competitive. You know, as what we do, when the game is not competitive, you got to feel a lot of dead air. You love it when a game is competitive, it gives you a lot to talk about.
And this is the second week in a row you and I have been dropping musical lines on the air.
Well, you know, music is something that will get you through any tough time in your life. So I encourage you all, find you a artist that you love and listen to music.
Nate Reed set to boot this one away. Daniel Coles and Laquan Vini are back deep to receive the kick. That will not roll into the end zone. That's a live ball, and Vini has to run up and cover it in a frantic search for the pigskin, and that is going to set A&T back unless the officials decide that this ball hit inside the goal line. And they're not.
I think Vini thought that it was going in the goal line. You mentioned the wind is blowing, and that carried that ball back out of the end zone. Looked like it was destined for a touchback, but it hit right at maybe the 1-inch yard line, bounced back, and Vini still didn't jump on it thinking that it hit inside the goal line, and that could have been disastrous to open up this third quarter for A&T. Is still not great field position to start this drive.
Definitely better than the worst result.
Better than the alternative, definitely.
But nonetheless, this is a problem for the Aggies to start half number 2 this way, and it looks like the replay crew was taking a look at it, and it did not cross the goal line. So North Carolina A&T will have 1st and 10 from its own 9-yard line to begin the second half, and that is not ideal field position.
Not ideal to say the least, but again, the alternative could have been worse. So you'll take it if you're A&T. You got to get this run game going if you're the Aggies, particularly backed up like you are now.
Graves up the middle and able to push ahead for a few.
Not a lot up the middle for Graves. As you mentioned, Cesar Monaro out at center for A&T for this contest, still trying to figure out those matchups up front.
So Brock Stukes has bumped over to center. Spencer Webb has been inserted into the lineup for the Aggies. Javon Dillard is the motion man. He'll go from bottom to top. White, keeper, has the edge. And was that a late hit? I believe it happened just inside the playing surface, but it was awfully close. You know, usually you're supposed to lay up off the quarterback, but it doesn't look like that was the case on this play.
As Kevin White gets around that right corner, running casually outside, could have been a penalty-ish. Brings up a big third down here for A&T.
You're a defensive guy. What do you think?
As a defensive guy, I wouldn't want the penalty called on me, but if you're an A&T fan, you'd want that flag. But sometimes as a quarterback, you got to get down or scoot out of bounds before
First
you
yard
take
timeout,
that
North
hit.
Carolina A&T.
Oh, we have a timeout
30-second
on the field.
timeout.
It'll be a 30-second timeout as North Carolina A&T had the play clock winding down and wanted to make sure they didn't get backed up another 5 yards. So a crucial 3rd and 4 upcoming. It seems like this is that perfect spot for another play action or maybe a screen pass. And A&T has had some success with today. You look at Javon Dillard, 61 yards receiving. He would probably be the #1 target on this toss.
Spencer, get out of my mind. I'm thinking about Javon Dillard. He's picked up several big third downs just by simply hooking in that Delaware zone. And you mentioned crucial third down. It's crucial conflict right here because you're conflicted. You don't want to put the ball in harm's way, potentially turn the ball over, but you got to keep this drive alive.
A&T going bunch formation. Dillard the motion man. White looking, throws, has Dobson, and that is good for an A&T first down. That seam, it appears that's the spot that Kevin White can continue to attack.
And that was an excellent play design. Dobson dragging across the field. And that time, Javon Dillard, instead of hooking up in the zone, he runs a flat pattern to open up that hook for Dobson to drag across the field and pick up the first down for A&T.
There's an injured Blue Hen out on the field. He's up on a knee.
Dobson's a big guy.
It's Tyron Herring who's going to come off under his own power.
Herring, the grad student, has had a really good ball game. Today he's going to head off, and A&T keeping that drive alive to start this third quarter is key. Again, in the first half, they've had really good drives, just not culminating in points.
And you mentioned it, Herring with 4 tackles today so far. It'll be 1st and 10 for North Carolina A&T from their own 22. Play action. White looking. Throws a bomb down the seam, and it's just a little too long. As Rory Jones, Amen Hetep, about a step too slow.
But he had 2 steps on the defender, and White tried to loft it up there again. Look at the flags. That ball gets up in the atmosphere, carries just a bit out in front of the intended target, and that's a missed opportunity for sure for the Aggies.
It'll bring up 2nd and 10 for the Aggies.
A&T went at Herring for placement on that play, immediately going up top, just couldn't connect.
135 passing yards for the Aggies so far. Graves able to have the corner and is angled out just before the first down marker. And the officials, I believe, are actually going to say he stepped out of bounds at around the 27.
Good kick out block there by the tight end. Dobson. Graves tries to get around on his seal block and get that first down, but going to step out of bounds. But it's going to be 3rd and manageable for A&T. They've been pretty good at picking up these 3rd and shorts.
3rd and 4 for the Aggies. 3 wide receivers down at the bottom of your screen. White looking. He's got Dillard. It goes off his fingertips and will fall incomplete. He had him wide open.
Yeah, Dillard had a step. You get that to Javon Dillard with room to turn around and get upfield. It's going to be a first down and more. Just couldn't quite connect on the pass from White to Dillard. The Blue Hens are going to get off the field there on a big 3rd down stop.
DJ Page is on to punt this one away for A&T. He'll kick with the wind. It'll be Jake Thaw back to return at the 25. Spiraling one. Punt fielded at the 29. Thaw up the seam, has a couple of yards, and is dropped by that special teams unit of North Carolina A&T.
A&T got a first down initially on that drive, just couldn't keep it going. Now it's up to the defense to get a stop and return the ball to the offense. As long as it's a 1-score ball game, the pressure is going to be on Delaware. So A&T weather this early 3rd quarter storm that you know that Ryan O'Connor wants to play better here in the 3rd quarter. Didn't have a bad first half. That pick 6 has to be a sour taste in his mouth.
That handoff is sniffed out immediately as Joe Nathan Silver had nowhere to go. Henry Daniel was camped out in the backfield.
Big play in the backfield by Henry Daniel. Nowhere for Joe Nathan to go.
Be a loss of 4. 2nd and 14 from the 33. Play action. That pass is incomplete as Nicholas LeBoy couldn't keep it up off the grass. And now you have 3rd and long. And Damian, I don't think I need to remind you that the last time Delaware had 3rd and long, they converted a 3rd and 22.
The 3rd and 22 late in that first half, converted by Delaware. That got them into their field goal range late, and now a big 3rd down early in the 3rd quarter for both teams.
O'Connor dropping back, canvassing, has his man. It's Lutz. Is he wrestled down before the marker? The initial spot shows he is. It'll be 4th and about 1, and we've seen Delaware, no hesitation, they're going for it.
Delaware, real brassy here, going for it on 4th again.
The handoff to Silver, and he is just across the first down marker, and the officials waving the chains down the field.
Silver, you mentioned, got just enough to keep the drive alive. But Delaware, I wouldn't say this disrespect, lack of respect going for it on 4th. They're just confident in their O-line and what they can do.
O'Connor has pressure. tucks it, runs it into Aggie territory. Plenty of grass ahead of him, and he'll step out of bounds at the 33.
O'Connor gets out of the initial pressure, reverses field, and only one Aggie on that side of the field between Ryan O'Connor and picking up a huge gain. Gets a key block. Joe Nathan Silver picks up another Blue Hen first down.
O'Connor looking, throws towards the sideline. That one will be dropped by Lutz.
That's a hash mark to far sideline throw there. Long way to throw it for O'Connor. Lutz couldn't quite get to it. Got his hands on it. But incomplete.
Brings up 2nd and 10 from the 33. The handoff to Joe Nathan Silver. He's able to push through that defensive front across the 30 and down to the 28.
And what Delaware is doing offensively is what they did in their first game. Great tackle there for the Aggies. Just being balanced. They're running it, they're throwing it, not running it for crazy amounts of yardage, but keeping that Aggie defense honest where they can't lose focus of the run game.
Silver at the first down marker, and it will be granted. So a new set of downs for the Blue Hens.
Joe Nathan Silver again gets the call on 3rd down, picks up enough to keep the sticks moving, and Delaware methodically going down the field on this drive. And your A&T, who's going to make a play defensively to try to stop this Blue Hen possession?
Daniel on pressure. O'Connor gets it away and floats it out of bounds as he was looking for Nicholas LeBoy.
And this time, if you look up at the flags, that wind is playing a factor on these deep balls for both quarterbacks. As O'Connor tries to connect for corner route. That ball was not catchable, wouldn't have been pulled in bounds.
The wind swirling now, you made mention of it. The flags all over the place here at Truist Stadium. Play action, O'Connor. Pump fakes, takes it himself, and he's into the promised land.
Yeah, O'Connor on that RPO. Faster than you would think, not known as a runner. But when you got that much grass, why not? And Ryan O'Connor on the touchdown scamper. Here you see RPO action. DN bites down on the dive, and O'Connor, nothing but green grass. Nobody accounts for the quarterback running. O'Connor says, don't mind if I do.
23 yards to the house.
See, O'Connor stumbled late getting into the end zone. But nonetheless, touchdown Blue Hens.
PAT good, and the Blue Hens up 28-13 with 9:16 to go here in the 3rd. We're going to take a timeout. When we return, more 3rd quarter action here on My 48.
CAA football is action-packed.
CAA football is thrilling.
CAA football is gritty.
CAA football is competitive.
CAA football is grit and grind.
CAA football is exciting.
CAA football is tough.
CAA football is relentless.
CAA football is persistent. CAA football is incredible.
CAA football is excellence.
CAA football is lights out.
CAA football is the standard.
CAA football united in excellence.
Using these type of cleansers could be damaging and stripping your skin. I use new Olay cleansing melts every day. Just soak, activate, and wash to clean, tone, and refresh. That's a 3 times better clean. Olay.
This is the CAA on Flow Sports.
Unfortunately, the Aggies injury list grows as senior safety Ty Williams is out with an upper body injury, and redshirt junior Jakari Caldwell is also out with a lower body injury. Neither will return to the game. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Raven. 9:16 to go here in the third, 28-13. North Carolina A&T trailing the University of Delaware following the Ryan O'Connor 23-yard run to cap a 10-play, 63-yard drive in 3 minutes and 19 seconds. O'Connor today, 15 of 28 through the air, 214 yards. An INT, no touchdown passes. The Blue Hens with 4 touchdown rushes. O'Connor now is actually the leading rusher for the Blue Hens with 41 yards on 3 carries.
And what that drive did for Delaware was give them some breathing room. Take it to a 2-score ball game, reassert their dominance in the game, and give A&T something to think about. Now they got to think about Ryan O'Connor not only hurting us with his arm, but he could pull the ball down and potentially get in the zone.
And number 22,
Vini will field this one cleanly. Looking for a hole, and he is driven out of bounds at around the 23.
Now it's up to Kevin White to come up with the answer for North Carolina A&T and their offense. And White, I've seen a lot of growth from last week to this week. The coaching staff is more comfortable with White letting it rip through the air this week. You've seen him make a lot of nice throws in this ball game, and it's going to take his arm and his legs for A&T to come back in this one.
The handoff to Coles. He has some room and is able to scamper ahead to the 28.
Nice blocking up front. Change of pace with Coles. A little bit more speedy, shiftier than Wesley Graves. Nice solid gain on first down for A&T.
It'll bring up second down for the Aggies. White, the keeper. Can he grab the edge? He can. He's got the first down. The ball popped loose, but he was already down on the ground.
This time utilizing his feet, Kevin White telling Ryan O'Connor, you're not the only one who can get it done with his legs.
First down, North Carolina A&T.
We mentioned it a couple times. White, only a sophomore, only going to get better for A&T off that left side, picking up the first down.
Kevin White so far. 6 rushes, 36 yards, 135 yards through the air today. White under pressure, and he is sacked.
White, not a chance there. Blue Hens in his face immediately on the drop back. Nobody accounts for the DN. How do you not block the DN? Saunders unabated to White for the big-time TFL and sack.
And Ethan Saunders, of course, with all those family connections here.
Got to feel good for Saunders, right? Feels bad for his father, his mother, things of that nature. Saunders, the turncoat for Delaware.
You know he feels comfortable here at Truist Stadium, though. As this time the ground game goes absolutely nowhere. And it'll bring up third and about 15.
Thought process there. Let's get some of that yardage back. Make it 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, potentially. Not a lot of space there for Coles. And you mentioned 3rd and long, not the situation that the Aggies want to be in offensively.
And now this is where the going gets tough. You're without Jakari Caldwell for the rest of the game. White goes down the sideline for Warren, and he leads him a little too far White on the long ball has struggled putting it near the receiver.
And had a step or two on the defender. White could have put more air under this one, let his wide receiver run under it. That's a nice gun, but has to learn how to put it in the right spots at the right times, and that'll come just with more reps. White's still only a sophomore.
Line drive punt. Thal will let it drop. It'll take an A&T roll to the 12 and trickle out of bounds. As Delaware's offense will trot back onto the grass. The Blue Hens not used to playing on a natural surface. Not many teams in the CAA keep grass home fields.
Not a ton of college programs in general have that natural grass. And, what I've heard from, most schools are that surface is, easier to manage. Once you have it installed, it's pretty much there for life. Still a little bit of maintenance on it.
However, the players prefer grass.
However, most players prefer grass. It's softer. You get tackled or you fall. Falling on grass is 1,000% different than falling on turf. So most players do prefer the natural grass, but A&T, one of those schools that are few and far between that still play on it.
Oh, when you have the word agricultural
yes.
in your name, you probably should keep a grass field. St. Fleur working hard to cross that first down marker and move the chains. And there's an injured Blue Hen down on the field. It's Bradley Onyewu.
Nice double team in the middle, and St. Fleur running angry for Delaware. Got one of those O-linemen down for the Blue Hens right now.
Grad student from Dover, Delaware. Getting his lower body looked at. In the meantime, Delaware 365 total yards of offense. This is a Blue Hen squad that last year in total offense, 22nd in FCS. A team that is using this year to prepare for the future. Ineligible for postseason, ineligible for any kind of title. You can take some risks. You can focus on some things. The eye is towards the future.
If you're Coach Cardi in this Delaware program, you're talking about eye being towards the future. My focus would be, does Ryan O'Connor have eligibility left? We need to bring him back to bridge that gap between FCS play and FBS play. How many guys do I have returning? How many guys I'm going to have to replace in the portal, things of that nature. Again, this year you can't play in a postseason. You can't win the CAA, so it's not a ton to play for other than, hey, I was on that team that bridged the gap, but it has to suck for the seniors who don't have any more eligibility.
Oh, that was a decision to come back, right? Everybody knew what was going on. A guy like a Marcus Yarns, who is a potential NFL draft pick next year, chose to come back to Delaware instead of going to FBS this year and playing for another school. And Ryan Carty was proud of that. He was proud of the fact that there were guys with no more eligibility after this year that made the commitment to stay and play for the Blue Hens. O'Connor over the middle. That one is complete to Max Patterson.
Patterson shifty after the catch, hard to bring down. It's Max Patterson, you mentioned, one of those veterans. Patterson, senior, Arlington, Virginia.
Thaw, fearless over the middle and into Aggie territory.
You see Delaware settling back in, doing what they want to do offensively and driving down the field. And now defensively, A&T, they got to come up with a stop. You cannot give up another touchdown here and go down 35-13. You got to make a play on the back end of your defense if you're the Aggies.
O'Connor searching, throws over the middle, completes the pass at the 40 as Thaw is taken down at the 39, a yard shy of the first down line to gain.
And if you're not going to get pressure on Ryan O'Connor up front, if you're A&T, it's going to allow him to wait for his receivers to pop free in that secondary, and O'Connor is going to pick you apart.
Second down and 1 for Delaware.
Play action, O'Connor goes for the deep ball, and that one is incomplete as Jalen Witcher had to come on back and try and search for that football. Aaron Harris on the coverage.
Ball slightly underthrown, got caught up in the wind. You see that ball fluttering just a bit, allowing Aaron Harris to get his right paw in there and knock it away.
Aaron Harris, of course, with the pick 6 earlier today.
So he's goated for this ball game regardless of what happens. He's already put points on the board for his team.
3rd and 1. And A&T comes flying in. It was Mac David III who applied the hit as Quincy Watson had nowhere to go. And now it's 4th and 4.
Return of Mac David. Big 3rd down stop, but again, Delaware with that I don't care type mentality. Let's go for it on 4th.
The Blue Hens 2 for 2 today on 4th down. O'Connor lofts it towards the sideline, and that one is complete. Flags come flying in as Elijah Sessoms able to haul the pass in and keep the drive alive.
Sessoms trying to track that ball in the air. A little bit of contact.
Holding. Defense, number 25.
It's going to be a holding penalty on A&T.
Result of the play is a first down.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for Delaware from the 22. As the Blue Hens now 3 for 3 on 4th down for the day.
Sessoms, a local kid, Dover, Delaware, comes up with the grab.
Ruling of a catch is under further review.
They're going to review this. Regardless if it's a catch or not, that penalty is going to give Delaware the first down. If they rule it not a catch, I'm assuming that they'll give Coach Carty an option to accept that penalty.
You would hope.
Well, I don't know. I mean, officials, sometimes they got a mind of their own. So you never know. But one thing I do know is Delaware, these last 2 drives, having their way with A&T. And the Aggies, they gotta, if they're not getting pressure on O'Connor, he's gonna pick you apart. And we'll be back. Delaware 28, A&T 13 on My 48.
6,000 universities. Why choose North Carolina A&T? We graduate more African American students in engineering, journalism, liberal arts, and agriculture than any other campus anywhere, period. Our grads earn more right out of school than all but one other UNC system peer. And 96% of Aggie alums say they wish they can do it all over again. Can you feel the pride? You will. A&T, always doing, never done.
I have seen significant changes in my skin. Good Molecules is everything.
My skin looks flawless. My skin is just glowing. And who doesn't want that?
Good Molecules made an amazing difference in my skin. My skin has glowed up completely.
Hyperpigmentation cleared up a lot. My skin tone is a lot smoother.
I've truly seen a difference in my skin. Now I have confidence and now I'm glowing.
I feel confident in my skin once again, thanks to Good Molecules.
As we await the call on the field from Matt Overton, who is finished watching replays, we will see if that pass was indeed hauled in by Elijah Sessoms.
Officials took a while to talk it over. Sessoms came down with it, or so it appeared. Let's see what the call is.
Well, the teams are lining up like it was hauled in.
It's just a matter of field position. If it's a catch, it's a big gain. If not, still going to be a first down on the penalty.
1st and 10.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It's first down.
Impressive hand-eye coordination by Elijah Sessoms to bring that thing in. So 1st and 10 from the 22. Play action. O'Connor steps up, throws to the end zone, and that will fly past the end line, incomplete.
And credit to Delaware. I think they've thrown at Karan Prunty a couple times, but they're smart enough to know, like, hey, it's not going to be a lot of success on that side of the field, but we can pick apart all the other components of this secondary. And O'Connor just long on that throw, but they're being very ambitious in their pass game today.
2nd and 10. O'Connor keeps it, and he is spun down to the grass at the 17.
Good open field tackle there. Trey Mittman. Nobody else but you out there. You got to make that play and able to do so as O'Connor tries to spin out of the tackle.
He's a Bull City guy like you.
I mean, this is how we do it in the Bull City. That's how we do it. 919 area code it's a special place in my heart as well as others. But I digress.
The handoff. And Watson in for 6. Quincy Watson took the first point of contact, shed it off, and was able to scamper into the end zone.
Yeah, Watson, again, the 4th running back we've seen for Delaware. The Yarns went down with the injury. Once you get past that initial line of scrimmage, you got one player to beat. You break that tackle, and you can get into the end zone. Watson for the tutty.
PAT is good, and the Blue Hens in control here in Greensboro, 35-13, with 2:39 to go in the 3rd.
Now Delaware feeling comfortable. A&T had a moment there. Start the 3rd quarter, you got to put a drive together and put that pressure on Delaware. Weren't able to do so these last 2 Blue Hen drives, resulting in touchdowns. See the defense on the sideline trying to figure it out for the Aggies. Coach Carty talked about it. Like, hey, you know, when we go on the road, it's a business trip. One thing about Coach Carty is a lot of coach speak, but it's not coach speak. It's like the right speak. You know, they understand that we're not playing for a lot. We're playing for each other. So that's the most important thing. In Delaware had a moment where after the Brian O'Connor pick 6 and it became a 1-point ball game going into halftime, like, hey, man, what's going on? They didn't panic. These last couple of drives, they've been able to right the ship, so to speak.
And the ball has fallen off the tee because of the wind. We keep mentioning it. I know it doesn't look too rough out on the field, but that just gives you an idea. It is spinning down there.
And this is Greensboro, and these things happen in Greensboro. It's windy in the, I would say, September to April time span around these parts.
Vini lets this one fly out of the end zone for a touchback.
Offensively, Aggies, you got to come up with a score. And you're probably going to have to let Kevin White drop back or catch it out the gun and try to pick apart this Blue Hen defense. You can still run it. Some time left in the ball game. But you're going to have to get down the field via the pass game.
Going to be first down
So Kevin White will trot back on so far today, 13 of 23 for 135 yards through the air. A&T, 188 yards of offense in this one compared to Delaware's 441. White looking, throws. He's got Dillard at the hash marks yet again, and he is to the 35. It'll be good for a first down, but a flag comes in at the 21.
That play looks awfully familiar. Javon Dillard just hooking up in that zone, picking up good yardage
Personal
for the
foul.
Aggies. Let's see what the call
Hands
is.
to the face. Defense, number 9. 15-yard penalty is added to the end of the run. First down.
The Aggies will take it.
That's the second illegal hands to the face penalty on Delaware today. That was Keyshawn Hunter, the senior out of our nation's capital, went to Woodson High School.
That's going to add 15 yards onto the first down, and you look up and the Aggies are past midfield.
That's the 6th penalty today for 55 yards for the Blue Hens. The Aggies are now into Delaware territory.
See A&T not giving up on that run. They hand it off to Graves. Minimum gain, but again, you can't just throw it every down. You're not at that point of the ball game, so you still mix in the run while you're trying to get down the field and put points up.
Second and 7 for the Aggies. White looking as the pocket closed up, tried to find Dobson. He tipped it up, and it'll fall to the grass, and Dobson got lucky. They always say if you can't catch the ball, tip it down.
And also when you go up with one hand, of course you want to make that highlight reel, but that is a disaster potentially waiting to happen on the tip passes, and Aggies got lucky that that one falls to the turf. But it's going to bring up a third down here. I would think that it may be 4-down territory right here if you're A&T.
Coming up on it at least.
You know, you think about punting, you still got the fourth quarter.
White goes to work, and he's sacked.
What a play. It's a one-man wrecking crew there for Delaware.
Gavin Mole on the stop.
And Mole had 3 Aggies around him. Just would not stop. Relentless effort.
And actually check that it's going to be Melkart Ubu Jaude who is going to be credited with the sack.
We saw the 5. I thought it was 35. It was Melkart. Spencer apologizes. You see what I did there?
An Aaron punt actually takes a decent A&T roll. As Jack Hall for Delaware thought he was going to be able to block that one. And the Blue Hens will get their start at around the 20-yard line.
Now it's got to have stop time defensively for A&T. If you didn't have any other stop in this ball game, you cannot allow more points for Delaware. Everything has to go right for the remainder of this game to give yourself a chance late if you're A&T. If not, it's going to be a long fourth quarter.
O'Connor rolling out. Searching, throws on the run, and that is complete to Sessoms.
A long run for a minimum gain there. So O'Connor finds Sessoms.
How about this? Delaware is connected with 9 receivers today, and that's with JoJo Bermudez not even playing.
And it's not as though Delaware is just throwing the ball every down. They're running the football. So O'Connor, that one dropped by Delaware. McKinley can't come up with the grab. But O'Connor done a really good job of just getting into the open receiver consistently in this ball game.
It's 3rd and 6.
Third down situations here. Defensively, it's where you make your money.
O'Connor looking back and will throw at the feet of Joe Nathan Silver to avoid the intentional grounding, but he had nowhere to go, was running for his life, and he said, you know what, I'm going to cut my losses here. I'm out.
Smart play there by O'Connor. Not a lot going on as Blue Hens tried to get cute there on that third down, and A&T sniffed it out. Good stop defensively for A&T, going to get the ball back to their offense.
Laquan Vini will hover around the 35 to receive this punt. It'll be Radcliffe back deep to boot this away. Gives it a spinning ride. Vini plays the roll and will let it continue to roll, where it is down at the 25. At the end of the third quarter, Delaware 35, North Carolina A&T 13. We're back after this.
That is the end of the third quarter.
On My 48.
CAA football is action-packed.
CAA football is thrilling.
CAA football is gritty.
CAA football is competitive.
CAA football is grit and grind.
CAA football is exciting.
CAA football is tough.
CAA football is relentless.
CAA football is persistent. CAA football is incredible.
CAA football is excellence.
CAA football is lights out.
CAA football is the standard.
CAA football united.
This is the CAA on Flow Sports.
Back with you here in Greensboro. You see the third quarter stats. It has been all Delaware in this one.
And Delaware, what they've done is what they did in the opener versus Bryant. Be very, very balanced offensively, running the football as well as throwing.
And we've actually had a change at quarterback for North Carolina A&T. Justin Fomby has been inserted into the ball game.
Kevin White was tackled low on that last sack on the third down for A&T. Not quite sure if he's injured or he's going to give Fomby some tick within a multiple score deficit here for A&T.
Well, Fomby known as more of the passing quarterback, the transfer from Houston Christian. The handoff to Graves. He goes through the middle and will cross the 30 to the 31. Graves today at 25 yards. A&T's rushing attack, less than 60 yards today, held in check by this Delaware defense.
Again, Delaware understanding that A&T wants to run the ball. They probably wanted to control the clock coming into this game. But when you get down, you have to get away from the run, so to speak. have really held the Aggies' run game in check.
Bombi finds Jamison Warren, who's shoved out just shy of the 40. That'll move the chains up the field. Well, if you're North Carolina A&T, obviously you want to make some noise here in this quarter to try and build some momentum up. You've got 2 games against former conference opponents in North Carolina Central and Durham, rivalry game, South Carolina State, rivalry game. You've got to find your way if you're the Aggies. As Fomby will sling it out to the hash marks to Vini and completes the pass. Those are 2 very important games if you're North Carolina A&T to kind of regain that momentum as you get back into the swing of things for conference play. And part of a 3-game road trip, Central, South Carolina State, and Richmond before coming home for homecoming against Hampton.
Yeah, that 3rd game of that 3 is going to be the toughest on paper. Richmond, one of those CAA powers traditionally. But for A&T, you want to finish off this game strong. Again, I've seen stranger things happen. I've seen teams come back. But if you don't come back, if you're A&T, you want to finish this game strong, relatively injury-free. Get ready for those 2 road games. North Carolina Central and South Carolina State, you're very familiar with the universities, the programs. Feel comfortable going on the road, playing those 2 teams, and hopefully you can come away with wins before you go on the road to Richmond.
First down for the Aggies. Fomby, plenty of time. He'll loft it down the numbers, and that one was almost intercepted, and now a flag comes in. Vini was the target.
Defender got there a tick early, I'm assuming, according to the official. See what the call is.
Holding. Defense, number 4. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Anthony Crenshaw Jr. on the holding penalty. That's going to give the Aggies a first down. Here you see Osby trying to hook up.
First down and 10 for the Aggies.
The Aggies
It'll bring up
first down.
1st and 10 from the 40 of Delaware. Fomby on the run, dragged down from behind.
And that's just a case of Fomby not being as mobile as White. Pressure initially, trying to scamper out of the pocket.
Brings up 2nd down and 13.
Tackled around the ankles. It's going to be a loss of 3.
Blake Matthews, the Troy transfer, on the stop.
A lot of transfers around college football. That portal, it's a sight to see.
Fomby searching, throws off the hands of Dillard for an incompletion, and that's a tough break. When it hits you in the hands, you have to catch it.
And that's the first mistake that Javon Dillard has made all ballgame. He's been short-handed, and that was the same play, hooking up. Get you a short 8, 9, 10 yards, and this one, a hot tamale coming out of Bombi's hand. Dillard can't squeeze it. Third down here.
3rd and long. Fomby down the sideline, and he leads Dillard too far and drifts him out of bounds, and that'll put a 4 in the box.
It's hard to navigate this wind, especially on fade patterns. This wind, you have to drive the ball through the wind. When it gets up in the air, it could carry. Seen that for both quarterbacks in this ballgame. Well, all 3 quarterbacks now in this ballgame. Fomby flicks it out, tries to give Dillard a chance, just can't come down with it.
This punt inside the 20, and it'll take an A&T roll at around the 11 and fly out of bounds. Officially marked at the 13.
Now you're going to see Delaware trying to shorten up this game. 3-score ball game. They're probably going to keep it on the ground. Wouldn't surprise me if they threw the football, but you want to shorten up this game, keep this clock rolling.
We're going to take a timeout on the field. 35-13, North Carolina A&T trailing Delaware here in Greensboro. We're back after this.
CAA football is action-packed.
CAA football is thrilling.
CAA football is gritty.
CAA football is competitive.
CAA football is grit and grind.
CAA football is exciting.
CAA football is tough.
CAA football is relentless.
CAA football is persistent. CAA football is incredible.
CAA football is excellence.
CAA football is lights out.
CAA football is the standard.
CAA football united.
This is the CAA on Flow Sports.
Welcome back out to Truist Stadium here on the campus of North Carolina A&T. 35-13, North Carolina A&T trailing the Delaware Blue Hens as Delaware's offense will head back out onto the field. It's St. Fleur. And now Ryan O'Connor getting a little taste of HBCU football with the blue and gold marching machine.
Why not?
Continuing to play with O'Connor
yet,
in the
Mr.
gun.
O'Connor. You hadn't been up here yet. You don't know.
Could be his only trip here.
I think that Coach Carty is trying to find some type of eligibility remaining for his QB, Ryan O'Connor.
St. Fleur will try and cut it up. Instead, he is wrapped up and brought down by Christopher Abraham.
Delaware just want to shorten up this game, keep it on the ground, but you can't shorten it up if you don't pick up yards on the ground.
And I should mention something because some viewers of this broadcast today are not avid HBCU football fans. It is tradition in HBCU football for the band to just continue playing. As O'Connor airs it out down the sideline, and that one is broken up. Flags come in, and I got to tell you, that might end up being offensive pass interference.
Pretty good coverage in the secondary.
And they're going to call it against Sumter.
On the field. Janae Sumter, in pretty good position. May have had his right
pass
arm
interference. Defense, number 5.
wrapped around the defender.
15-yard penalty.
Hard to see.
First down.
But that's going to give Delaware a first down and allow them to run more clock. See here on the replay.
Get another look.
O'Connor lofts it out.
I got to tell you, it's actually Lutz's arm that is wrapped around him.
Yeah, it looks like Lutz is preventing Jazz Sumter from going up to attack the ball. But again, I'm not an official. I don't get paid the big bucks, so I can't make those calls.
St. Fleur, nowhere to go. That door is closed.
But if you're Delaware, you don't mind. You're going to run this football. You want to preferably take about 4 minutes off of the clock on this drive just by running the ball, picking up first downs. If you can't, you'll punt it away to A&T, but, you only want to put the ball in harm's way when you absolutely have to. I think A&T knows that. It's a good tackle in open field by North Carolina A&T, and Aggies defense made some good plays in this ball game.
I believe it was Mac David who was able to make that stop in the open field. It sure was.
4 yards after catch. Mac David gets a hold of you.
Brings up 3rd and 7 for the Blue Hens. Here's O'Connor. Plenty of time. Now under pressure. Hardy can't get there. O'Connor will throw it, and it will drift out of bounds. Joshua Hardy, the Boston College transfer, was able to break free there at the end. He actually had a sack in the game against Wake Forest, but could not get to O'Connor this time.
Couldn't get to O'Connor, but flushed him out of the pocket and made it very hard for him to find a target down the field, forcing a punt. And if you're A&T, you got to turn this punt into something offensively. A spark is needed in this ball game. You see O'Connor trying to flick it to this intended target, forcing this punt. A&T opportunity here on the punt return to try to make something happen.
Booming punt. Beanie retreating inside the 10 to field it. Doesn't have a lot of room to operate. He'll spin out of trouble at first, keeps his feet, and here he goes. Beanie across the 45 and taken down at the 47.
Excellent return by Beanie. Split the defenders initially, popped out of it, made a couple of moves, and setting up your offense with incredible field position here. You see, you make the first defender miss. Mission accomplished here, breaking 3 would-be tackles.
There was another one there.
Get out of here. I'm going to get a couple more yards and set my offense up. And, that's the things that you look at as a coach. Win, lose, or draw after the game, you're looking at the film like, okay, this young man is still playing hard, even though we're down multiple scores in this fourth quarter.
Right, if A&T did helmet stickers, that was earning a helmet sticker today.
Definitely playing hard regardless of the score.
Bombi opens up, throws to Graves, loses the football, and it is taken away by Delaware. Mark Vicek, the grad transfer from Marshall.
More late night on BET with the tip drill, and this time
ruling on the field is the interception by the defense. First down.
Bombi tries to get it to Graves. Graves, I think, saw the defender coming, tried to turn his head to embrace for it. Tips up in the air, and really good hands on the defense for Delaware. Mark Vicek with the INT.
And the Aggie defense back out on the field quickly. O'Connor has a day and a half. Airs it out down the field and finds the end zone.
That's what happens when you turn the ball over. Sudden change. Oftentimes the offense goes for the kill shot, the jugular.
Phil Lutz hauls in the touchdown grab for the exclamation point from the Blue Hens.
Play action pass. Phil Lutz running past multiple Aggie defenders for the Blue Hens touchdown. Lutz just running free, and it's the play fake and the ball fake that gets the secondary biting, gets the safety coming up just a step. In the secondary, if you're even, you're leaving. And Phil Lutz is leaving Greensboro with the touchdown catch.
We take a timeout, 42-13. Delaware on top. Back after this on My 48.
6,000 universities. Why choose North Carolina A&T? We graduate more African-American students in engineering, journalism, liberal arts, and agriculture than any other campus anywhere, period. Our grads earn more right out of school than all but one other UNC system peer. And 96% of Aggie alums say they wish they can do it all over again. Can you feel the pride? You will. A&T, always doing, never done.
have seen significant changes in my skin. Good Molecules is everything.
My skin looks flawless. My skin is just glowing. And who doesn't want that? Good Molecules made an amazing difference in my skin. My skin has glowed up completely.
Hyperpigmentation cleared up a lot. My skin tone is a lot smoother.
I've truly seen a difference in my skin. Now I have confidence and now I'm glowing.
I feel confident in my skin once again, thanks to Good Molecules.
Yes, so the Aggies are down 29 right now with a lot of this quarter to go. And the energy is down in the stadium and on the sidelines. However, head strength coach Tommy Moore is sending everyone out with one message. It's not over. Give it everything you got. While there is still time on the clock, he wants every player to give effort and energy to finish this game. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Raven. 42-13. One play, 47 yards through the air. O'Connor to Lutz in 6 seconds, capitalizing on the V-check interception.
Sudden change of possession. Defense for A&T gets back out on the field, and throughout this ball game, both quarterbacks have been overthrowing deep passes. Now, if you cut the ball through the air, you've been pretty accurate if you're O'Connor, but those deep passes have gotten away from you. That one was pinpoint to Phil Lutz.
Reed will send it through the back of the end zone, and the Aggie offense will come on the field. Justin Fomby leading the way.
And again, with the score being what it is, if you're the coaching staff for A&T, you're looking at this like, okay, who's still playing hard? What can we take away from this game? You can take away the first half. You played very competitive with Delaware, a team that will be at the FBS level next season. You can take that away from the first half. What do you take away from this final 8:55 here for A&T?
Coles able to rush ahead for about 5. If you're Delaware, though, I mean, yes, there are 13 points on the board, but 7 of those points were the result of a defensive touchdown. You've held A&T to 216 total yards of offense.
The play clock opposite
6
the
points.
Jumbotron is
you've
not
been able
working.
to get it done if you're Delaware, but points are points. It was 21-13 to start the third quarter, well within reach for A&T, and Delaware has done a great job of not only taking the belt off, but putting belt to bottom here in the second half.
21 unanswered points for the Blue Hens so far here in the second half, and that's where teams start to separate themselves.
Here offensively, your A&T try to work some guys in that don't get a lot of playing time, build your depth, get them some game experience, so if they are needed in the future, they'll be ready to play.
Well, Cole's considered the future at running back as he's going to come off, and Graves will check back in. Of course, Vincent Brown hoping that Kenji Christian will be back next week, along with Cesar Monero and a few other Aggies that were not available today. Fomby loses the football. It's picked up by Graves, and he is tackled at the 35. So Fomby with an interception and a fumble so far here in the fourth quarter.
Blitz off the corner. Graves couldn't quite get to the blitzing cornerback. Lucky to come up with that fumble by Fomby.
Graves, he gets hit hard as he went through the A-gap.
Hit hard by number 52.
Alex Villitz causing that fumble that Graves was able to pick up, but A&T just no energy now. Once they've not been able to consistently move this football here in the second half, Delaware has completely taking control. Aggies staring down another loss.
Down and 9 for the Aggies.
It's a chance for Fomby to show off his arm and pick up this third down.
Fomby throws. That one is complete at the first down marker to Vini, and the chains will move.
Nice catch by Vini. Did it with the punt return this time, picking up the big third and long for the first down. Again, if you're Vini, these are confidence plays. Made a big play in the return game. This time you lay out, able to hold on to the ball to pick up the first down.
Graves will take it on the ground. He's into Blue Hens territory.
Graves still bruising back there in that backfield. You mentioned Kenji Christian, the home run threat, leading the conference in rushing.
Coming into today, yes.
Yes, so that's a big loss in the run game. That's a potential touchdown every time you touch the football. And Kenji Christian, I think that played a part in A&T's offense today.
Fomby tosses downfield. That one is complete to Warren, who was able to rush down to the 31.
Pitch and catch again. Jamison Warren. Another A&T first down. You got a Aggie slow to get up on the field. Here you see Fomby play fake, RPO action, guns it to Warren, breaks one tackle, picks up the first down, and see Vini trying to block. Got rolled up under, as he got rolled up under a Delaware defender, made him pay the price. First down, nonetheless, for A&T as they try to put points on the board and build off of something for next week's ball game.
Well, we've mentioned it, a couple of traditional rivals for the Aggies coming up on the schedule. Warren, that one a little too tall for him.
And when you know that you have some of your brothers playing in the next couple of ball games, and I say brothers meaning HBCU brothers as in North Carolina Central, South Carolina State, those are teams that you're very familiar with. So you got something to look forward to, but you want to finish out this game strong.
Fomby finds Warren, loses the football. It's picked up by the Blue Hens. And Blake Matthews with the fumble recovery.
Physical defense there by Delaware as Warren catches it, turns up the field, tries to make a play, but loses the rock, and another turnover for A&T. That's something that they could not do in this ball game. They've turned it over a couple of times. Here's the defender, rips the ball away. Warren trying to make a play.
Anthony Crenshaw Jr. with the forced fumble. I mean, that is perfect.
Well, if you hold the ball,
football,
you got to hold it close to your chest, and if it gets a little bit loose, that gives the defender a chance to rip away at it. Aggies turn it over back to Delaware.
And every time it seems like A&T is going to start doing something, there's an unforced error that just comes back and hurts. And you can't turn the ball over when you're down this much.
And you can't turn it over when you're driving to try to, maybe build some momentum and get some good game film in. As you see here, Delaware not running, trying Karan Prunty. Prunty makes a play. That was one of our players to watch for A&T. He's played really well at his cornerback position for A&T, one of the lone bright spots in today's ball game for the Aggies.
Nick Minicucci is now in for Delaware as the quarterback, the sophomore out of Don Bosco Prep, one of the top high school programs in New Jersey.
How many running backs does Delaware have? They just roll them out there, and You know, when you have the success that Delaware has had in the CAA and the conference as well as FCS football, you know, you're going to get your fair share of recruits. And we talked about it off air. Delaware, that location right there by New Jersey, New York, you know, Pennsylvania area, close to Virginia, you're going to get some talent.
Minicucci on the run. Turns the corner. Flag comes flying in as he is shoved out of bounds by Mac David. That flag landed at around the 49.
25, Mac David. There is a flag on the play.
Minicucci, possibly the future quarterback for
defense. It's a 10-yard penalty, automatic
for
first
Delaware.
down.
As this game is out of reach, you want to get Minicucci some snaps to get him some game reps, because potentially, as in all positions in football, you're one play away from being in the ball game. See a couple of Aggie fans there still here supporting their team, even though they trail it big here in the fourth. As OJ, one of our engineers, is trying to show me something. Please don't show me the Florida State. I saw the score, sir.
Kalen Costello with another run. He's now down to the 40-yard line of A&T.
I got work to do here, OJ, but I digress. Nice run, off right, tackle for Delaware. 7-yard gain as the Blue Hens try to run this clock out. And if you're Delaware, you came in town, you enjoyed, you know, some Southern hospitality, hadn't been to Greensboro before. You played your ball game closer than you would like at halftime, but in the second half, you've really asserted your will in what looks like a runaway win.
False start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty.
There was a false
second
start
down.
on the offensive line. Anwar O'Neal.
Defensively for A&T, they've just been out of sorts in this ball game because you can't just key on the run. You can't key on the pass. And Delaware's multi-dimensional offensively and very balanced. And they've been balanced today as well. O'Connor, 325 through the air, over 160, actually over 190 yards rushing as a team.
Costello spins and is taken down at the 37. It'll be just shy of the first down marker.
See again, another running back, same results. And that puts Delaware potentially over the 200-yard mark on the ground. So if you can throw for over 300 and run for over 2, you're probably going to win the game unless your defense is just god-awful.
And that is not the case here today. Just 6 points allowed by the Delaware defense as we have reached the 2-minute timeout.
That is the 2-minute
here in
timeout.
Greensboro. We will step away. When we return, the final 2 minutes of this ball game. You're tuned in to the CAA on My 48.
CAA football is action-packed.
CAA football is thrilling.
CAA football is gritty.
CAA football is competitive.
CAA football is grit and grind.
CAA football is exciting.
CAA football is tough.
CAA football is relentless.
CAA football is persistent.
CAA football is incredible.
CAA football is excellence.
CAA football is lights out.
CAA football is the standard.
CAA football united and excellent.
This is the CAA on Flow Sports.
Back with you at Truist Stadium, the final 2 minutes. Getting set here in Greensboro. It has been all Blue Hens in this one, as the University of Delaware on its farewell tour through the CAA. This is a conference that Ryan Carty told us, it means a lot to him. He came through this conference as a player, won a national championship as a member of the CAA. A lot of FCS football players that University of Delaware has produced.
Delaware has had a great program for a very long time, and in this day and age where cash rules everything around me, you got to go when you got to go. In Delaware, understanding the tradition of the CAA and the FCS football, but an opportunity to jump to FBS football and go to the Conference USA, that's something that you can't pass up. So you don't fault Delaware, and by the looks of their product on the field, they have the talent to make an impact once they go to that next level.
And one of the coolest tidbits that I've seen, University of Delaware, one of just 3 institutions with an alumnus-elected president, Joe Biden, Super Bowl MVP, Joe Flacco, and then NFL MVP, and Rich Gannon, along with Stanford and Michigan.
The more you know. Ding, ding, ding,
pretty
ding.
impressive. Pretty impressive.
It's pretty impressive. And if you are a player in that area, that Delaware area, that Pennsylvania area, where you may be overlooked by Penn State, you may be overlooked by some of the big boys, Delaware can be an option for you.
And the Blue Hens will finish this thing off in classy fashion and let the play clock run down and take a knee.
What a performance, especially in the second half, by Ryan O'Connor and his Blue Hen offense. The defense has played great all game long. You mentioned only giving up 6 points, and those 6 points are 2 Andrew Brown field goals. So defensively, Delaware able to contain A&T's offense, and offensively for the Blue Hens, they went up and down the field all day long.
You mentioned it, the second half, 21-0 Delaware over A&T. 236 yards of total offense compared to just 103. And that, of course, the major story in this game. 526 yards of total offense for the Delaware Blue Hens.
How much?
526. 325 through the air, 201 on the ground as the Delaware Blue Hens knock off the North Carolina A&T Aggies 42-13 and begin CAA play 1-0. The Aggies still in search of their first conference victory in the CAA. You take a look, your post-game statistics, dominated time of possession, and total yards. For Raven Douglas down on the sidelines and my partner Damian Banks, along with our wonderful My 48 Flow football crew, I'm Spencer Turkin saying so long from Greensboro, North Carolina. You've been tuned in to the CAA on My 48 and Flow Football. Good afternoon.